Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Nova Tournament. It feels like a millennia since we've been casting and watching some Siege, but we're finally back, and we've got the semi-final before we head off to that grand final. So this is that lower bracket. But before we get into it, I'm KJ Assassin.
And I'm Elijah Hartz, and yes, I'm excited to get in today. Absolutely, like you said, I feel like it's been a really long time since we've been able to see these guys collect up against each other, even clash up. A lower bracket semi-finals, KJ. So this is a huge game in terms of which team will be able to go forth towards that grand final. And I don't know, and I'm looking forward to seeing these two teams. They've definitely proved themselves to be the better of the lower bracket. So hopefully we'll be able to see which team gets to go up against our lovely winner bracket leader, who is already awaiting for their finals.
Yeah, Kill Squad is, locked in and ready to face whoever wins out of this matchup here tonight. And I think it's going to be a good one. Naughty Sausages, they got knocked out of that winners bracket very early on, and then they went on to beat Trident, and then they also beat Panic quite comfortably. So that is how we have gotten here. Whereas Bandits, they already took on Kill Squad earlier in the bracket, and that was just before in the winner bracket semi-final. So they got knocked down, so they get a second chance to go to that grand final. Will they be able to win this game today and go into that grand final, or are they going to lose both semi-final games and get knocked out entirely, Elijah?
Well, you can imagine that Naughty Sausages, they have a little bit of a revenge thing going behind them as well, in terms of wanting to get to that grand final to beat Kill Squad, because that was their very first matchup in the tournament altogether, and they lost. They got chucked down to the lower bracket because. So if they manage to take out Bandits here, they get to go to the grand finals and exact their revenge, or maybe even fall twice again. But today it's Bandits versus Naughty Sausages, and I'm excited to see who can bring it up into the best of three. But speaking of maps though, let's have a look at those. Where will we be going today? Where is the chaos going to unfold on our very first map? If you got to guess, KJ, where do you think?
Well, we know that these teams, specifically Naughty Sausages, they definitely are a lot more frag heavy. So I'd imagine that they want to probably go to a villa or, a border. But for Bandits, they love that sort of taking their time, especially on the attack. So I'd imagine like an Oregon Clubhouse was banned by Naughty Sausages, so good pick there. But they're also not that bad at Clubhouse, so, interesting choice from them there. But we're going to see Cafe, Theme, and Chalet to follow with the bands, and we'll be seeing that first pick come out, and there we go. It is that Oregon, so I think I was right on the nail with that one. But the second map from Naughty Sausages will be that Villa, so frag heavy map will be that second map, and it is that for Naughty Sausages. What will the last one be, though, you reckon, Elijah?
Well, we are running out of options now as they all slowly tick down, and interestingly enough, I don't see like the bank come out. There we go. Finally, it comes out. I was getting a little bit excited for a bank as a decider. Could you imagine that? That would have been huge. We haven't seen bank yet. It would have been really good to finish off with, but we're going to be finishing off with border, which we've seen before from Bandits and Naughty Sausages, I believe. I don't think so. Less for Naughty Sausages. I know we've seen Bandits here, but look, that's a good deciding map. There's no way of really telling in which way that'll swing, based on the lack of intel that we have on border, how little we've seen it. But I like the two start comfort maps, right? Oregon, Villa, everybody's comfortable there. Everybody's played it so many times. It's kind of like the default pick. Starting out on Oregon as well, you can imagine that you're just as comfortable there as well. And Bandits starting out on attack, Naughty Sausages starting out on defense. We've seen Naughty Sausages and how well they play on their Oregon defense, so hopefully it'll be able to match up to the aggression that Bandits can bring.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think Bandits, I think they actually played it against Kill Squad, I do believe, Elijah. I think that was the last time we saw Bandits play that, and they did lose it. I think it did come close, but, losing that decider map and going to that, and Naughty Sausages maybe having that intel on that could be a dangerous sort of outcome for them. But, they get to play their map pick first. They get to play Oregon, so that'll be the map pick that we go to. But obviously, Naughty Sausages, it's not their map pick. They get to choose a side, and they'll be starting out on that defense. Now, we have discussed how we usually think that this map is defender side, but we've seen that basement side that we always think if you run down the clock, it should be the defenders' round win easily. But these last couple games that we've seen on Oregon, that hasn't been the case. So I wonder if we're going to see that same sort of aspect happen tonight.
I think so. It's just become the new story to tell at the moment. Everybody thinks, oh wow, downstairs is going to be the easiest defense ever. But as time and the season has unveiled itself and it's unfolded, it's revealed that downstairs has come a little bit harder in terms of how the attack has coordinated themselves. But of course, it has a lot to do with the bans that you've left up for yourselves. But I mean, I guess we're going to have to see that as we head into our very first match today, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Bandits going up against Naughty Sausages. Oregon being our very first map. I'm excited to see how it'll end up.
Yeah, I don't know how this first map's going to go. I think it's going to be a close one once again. I think we're going to see either a 7-4 from either side or a 7-5. But why don't we go to our predictions, Elijah? Why don't we see what everybody thinks is the winner of tonight's matchup in this series specifically? But I've backed up Bandits. You've backed up Naughty Sausages. But Tiaki has also backed up that Naughty Sausages. They're on that, that train of the clutch potential that, players like Captain Oz can bring for that side, so I'm keen to see it. But Chef and Ling, we all think though that it'll be that third map, Elijah, so that's interesting. No one thinks that here it's going to be a clean sweep.
Yeah, look, I think that's pretty fair. 2-1. I mean, everybody wants to see a third map. We want to see that highly competitive game that both of these teams bring. And obviously, they've fought really hard to get this late here in the lower bracket, looking to get to that finals as well. You have to expect that they want to take that third map. You can't let these maps slow down and switch up at any point. Otherwise, I mean, what are you going to tell yourselves if you've made it this far and you just fall to a 2-0? And you got to feel bad about that, right? So, I mean, 3 of you has picked Bandits, 2 of us picked Naughty Sausages, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick for Kratos and say that he picked Naughty Sausages as well. So it's a 3-3. We've got that even chance.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a testament to how this series will go as a whole as well, I think. But all maps, even if we go to that third map, aren't going to be close. But we get to go in. We're going into that Oregon. We get to go into something that we're all comfortable and familiar with and is a staple of this region and of this game as well. So starting out on that defense, though, I'd hope that Naughty Sausages, they can kick things off here, right? And maybe get themselves that little lead. But Bandits, we know, are very, very good on the attack. And especially on a map like this, it favors their playstyle. They're able to work out what they want to do and sort of set up that execute so that when it does come to that late round, they can explode onto the site and take what's theirs. But first bans to come out, and it will be a Dokkaebi ban. We haven't seen a Dokkaebi ban for a hot minute, I'd like to say.
Yeah, you normally see, well, in terms of that global utility at least, people would tend to ban that Jackal or maybe even a Lion as well, but the Dokkaebi, I mean, not a bad call, I would say. And it's really annoying when you get that FaceTime call mid-lurk as well, when you think that you're about to get the uphand on a team, when you're doing your little lurk around, but thankfully it'll be shut down. Speaking of lurks though, the lurking potential off the attacking side being removed in terms of getting behind the lines due to the intel, knock will be banned off. Make it a lot easier for the defender side to less worry about that as well. It's a good pick. Interestingly enough though, we don't see a Flores ban, which is what we normally see, KJ.
Yeah, so Flores is actually going to stay in play, and Solus will be banned though. So, we know that Bandits, I don't think I've ever not seen them ban that operator off the board. And on a map like this, where you can set up those pre-places and take that map control, having it off the board is going to be a whole lot easier for them on that attack, but a little bit more difficult for the defenders. But they can still spot out their cams with their little eyeballs. But Cade is going to be the last character to fall, and that's a good choice, I feel like. Thatcher is, on the board still, but we've seen those Cade tricks come out quite often, and maybe that's Naughty Sausage's play. They know that JPK, when he's played on that defense on the basement, he's been able to achieve just that, Elijah.
Now, you've got rid of the Dokkaebi. Of course, you have the Lion with the pocket EMPs as well if you needed to deal with the K, but the Thatcher was left up the entire time, so I guess just get rid of it altogether makes it a lot easier. You don't have to worry about bringing another operator instead. You can just focus on those can openers for downstairs instead of needing to worry about anything else and be cautious around the hatch. But not going downstairs this time. You're going to be heading up. You're going to start your very first defense in the kids' dorms as well, and you can see the lineup now. The Fenrir coming out. The Warden's being brought out as well. You can see Captain Oz with his signature shotgun on the pulse, which he so loves to run. Gonna have to be a little bit careful of that, though, in terms of the lurk potential, because Bandits are really good at doing their own clears.
Yeah, that's the thing. So if they're not careful, they could find themselves falling victim to that roam clear. But it's sort of a double-edged sword. They could also fall victim to that roam from Naughty Sausages. But there we go. Drift's going to open it up, and he's going to shut down the Warden, which could be an impactful player later on. They don't really have any smokes, but they do have the flashes of Organiser on that buck. So him being out for the count, going to be a tough one.
Lion Scan's going to be hop up as well. Yellow ping's happening on top of the armory as well to give away Captain Oz's position, but he's going to be holding down the armory stairs with a shotgun in hand as well, so definitely a very scary factor to push into. But in terms of how he's playing, he's kind of cut off here, not only by the rotate from downstairs, but if he tries to take armory again, obviously he's going to have to take that engagement. But there's also a player inside of bedroom, so essentially he is really stuck here. Cardiac Sensor's going to come out there, is going to reveal the position of MML. Shotgun's going to come through the walls, but nothing will connect. His position will be given away on top of the armory stairs now, and he's stuck between the two. He'll be picked up as well, and it'll be a double for Drift in this round, as yet another engagement comes out, as MML narrowly misses his kill into Attic. But a quick swing from Harry M's going to clean him up, and he's able to rotate back into Attic unpunished.
Yeah, that's the thing. Harry just swinging at the perfect time there and sort of making this round a little bit more in their favor again. You know, they were slowly losing their grip at the start there, but there we go. Bandits swinging it back in theirs as heals will fall to JPK, but now it's all left to Harry in this Attic position. He does have these head holes to utilize, but there's no one there, and JPK with another. And that's the first round. That is Bandits round in the bag, and quite a dominant one, I'd like to say.
Yeah, doing things quite quickly and comfortably, I gotta say, for Bandits. Getting that early pick, definitely a misplay for Naughty Sausages. Letting them have that advantage this early on just gave them the confidence to take bedroom that quickly. And with that one pulse player, Captain Oz, being isolated on those armory stairs, it left him in a really rough position to pick either to go downstairs, where he was going to take an engagement with a shotgun or a pistol against a person who probably has a 2-point times scope in that main door, hidden behind a truck. Or you have to go back upstairs, and yet again, you're pinched. Like, you've got nowhere to go at all. So it kind of all fell apart there that early on. It is that very first round. You know how many times we like to talk about that early rounds. You know, you get those little bit of jitters. You don't know how the opposition is playing other than the VOD reviews that you've seen from them. But, you know, it takes a little bit things to get into the groove, get your feet moving, get the brain pumping.
Yeah, sometimes it gets a little bit, you know, of a wake-up call when you have the first round finally played out, and hopefully Naughty Sausages, they're a little bit more aware that Bandits, they're not the same as Panic in this instance. You know, they're not going to just sort of fall to your swings. They're going to be patient. They're going to drone your positions out, and it's a little bit more of a confidence game. I think if you're confident with your swings, you're definitely going to get it, but you need to sort of do it at the right time. You can't always be swinging when you're versing a team like Bandits. It's just not going to work. But there we go. The intel going to be coming out. And this time, Life, he's going to get the other end. He's not going to fall first. He's actually going to find MML first. So that's a very, very good character to get off the board. That's your Yana. No more nades from him, but you do have the nades of Organiser still in play.
It's good that you're switching up the narrative, getting the early pick this time as well. Candela's looking to get control over Big Tower, as the live drones come through to get some intel onto Captain Oz. But already T3 is being taken as well, but Hills going to collect up the kill onto Lonely, and this is all falling apart for Bandits this time, as Hills is going on a little bit of a roam to see if he can find anybody potentially on this side of the map. But everybody is sitting quite comfortably, focusing their attention on T3, but Captain Oz is still over there. He hasn't been dealt with, and he's got a shotgun in his hand as well, so if anybody is unknowing and tries to push these tower stairs, a shotgun is going to spread into them as well. But Drift as well, lovely game sense, being able to collect up Hills and trying to get an easy spawn peek out of the windows on Satellite. Unlucky that you were able to get picked up like that.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know, they had that two-man advantage up, and then they're just trying to find more picks, but instead they're just bleeding their own, and unfortunate play from Hills there. But if he was able to find another, it probably would have been the nail in the coffin there. But now that you've lost that man, it's still winnable for Bandits. They've got a lot of time to work with. They just need to, you know, sort of prioritize what they want to do with their utility that they have in hand, and they still have 2 line scans. They can definitely push any solo players and sort of isolate them and take them out, but They're going to do it quickly. But Captain Oz, he's going to do a quick swing, and he's going to take out Organiser. So it's fallen apart for Bandits in round 2.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say as well. Captain Oz being absolutely crucial in holding back those back stairs and those players who were trying to push there. You did have the frag grenades to try to isolate those gunfights, but you did it unsuccessfully. Now it's left down to the last 2 members, Drift and JPK, to clutch it back. 31 seconds to do so as well against a mirror and all the util that is left. You still got a C4 for the side of Naughty Sausages as well. It's a lot to ask for, especially if they've reinforced off that elbow as well, which by now I feel like they should have. You have to be careful of the roamers as well. There is still someone elbow actually, so they have to deal with them there. So they're looking to get a little bit of a pinch going now as well. Captain Oz finding the first, but Yoa's life connect the second. And Naughty Sausages with a very strong answer to the very first round, finding themselves to an even score of a 1-1 now.
Yeah, I think, you know, that basement site, this time it was a defensive win, you know. It's not that that story that we've seen where the attackers just somehow managed to make their way onto the side and sort of take it for free. But Naughty Sausages, they've had a response. So I think, like we've talked about, this is going to be a close game. And I think we're just fixing up some technical stuff on our end. And we should be back to the game soon. I think there was just an FOV issue or something like that. So hopefully we can get that sorted soon.
We should have some elevator music for these kind of things, so we can chill back, you know, dun 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 dun. dun
Some jazzy like sort of music.
Yeah, that'd be sick. But yeah, just an FOV fix, just to make sure that you guys can catch all the action, and obviously so us as well, so we can actually see what's happening in the game. Because when you're that zoomed in, you're gonna get nothing but motion sickness.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit, you know, uneasy when you are that close. I don't know anyone that plays with that FOV.
Oh, the console players.
Apart from console players, I mean, I used to play on that, but I'd rather not if I am on the PC. But we see that they're back into the action, and we get to see in that lovely 90 FOV, I would imagine now. So they're gonna run down this top floor side again, though. So they did lose it out the first time round, but I wonder if they played a little bit safer and don't give that first pick, if it will change more in their favor, or if they will make the same sort of mistakes as before and history will repeat itself. I guess we'll find out. But in terms of the lineup, they're loving to bring this Fenrir, so definitely getting a lot of worth out of it as well. They're able to work out where Bandits are pushing from, as well as disable their vision for a short moment as well. So very interesting pick. But the Echo, we don't usually see Echo being picked on this side unless it's, you know, the side of Nutty Gaming, you know, our beautiful Glut playing it. But Harry M choosing to pick it up this time.
And a lot of work that Yokai's did as well when Nutty Gaming did play it. I believe it was against Trident on Oregon as well, and we all know about Trident, how strong they are as well. So if the Yokai can do some damage against them, you gotta hope that it can as well against Bandits. Obviously, Bandits being the stronger team at the moment in finding out this late in the tournament. But, I mean, if it'll work, it'll work. It is denial. It's good to have on your side as well, not only for the intel, but for that plant denial, for even helping out your engagements as well. If you try to swing with the concussion of a Yokai, you're gonna find it a little bit hard to aim.
Yeah, it's definitely something to consider, but something to consider is Captain Oz and Dining. If you don't shut him down, we've seen the amount of damage he can do with that Roni, but he's also struggling to get the drone here. He finally finds it, but MML, he's actually going to take some damage. I do believe outside Master and Hills, he's actually going to do a lot of damage and find Organiser. So once again, this time around, Naughty Sausages finding that opening pick. Now, they got to maintain that. They do love to swing and bleed picks unnecessarily, so hopefully they've learned from their mistakes. But Captain Oz shutting down Drift. That's your line off the board. No more lion scans to go out. And Bandits, they look so strong in round 1, but Naughty Sausage is starting to have a better grip. But as I say that, MML are finding life, as well as the Yokai and the Wamai discs, clearing a lot of utility on that entry.
An ill-spoken swing, if I got to guess, that was for life there. I feel like he didn't really need to take that. He had a really good position behind the trophy shield. He still had the Wamais up as well, and he was denying a lot of time for Bandits to push inside of Master, because they had to be a little bit wary of not only the shield position, but Captain Oz being the Piranha in the fishbowl from below, he'd have the C4. So if they did potentially try to gain some entry, move inside of the closet. A C4 below could have sufficed. They would have been able to pick up yet another kill. But speaking of kills though, Orion, he's going to be able to find a kill onto MML, and already down to a 2v4 position, a deficit for Bandits to work back as well. And they're on a little bit of a split though. JPK is going to be the very first to open it up though, as he finds a kill on the double window, but he is very low HP. It'll be up to him and Lonely to clutch it back, but hopefully Naughty Sausages, they can just chill, have a little bit of time to play on, as they've still got the Fenrir up on the trophy door as well. So if they do push through there instead of the breach, which I believe is jump throughable? Yeah, it is. So they have the position. They can push through. JPK has fallen as well, leaving it down to just Lonely. He's in the side as well, but Harry with a quick swing is going to find himself getting fallen confirmed as well, and only finding 2 in the process. We'll leave it down to just that last player. Hills is low HP. Lonely has more and he wins! Lonely!
The dog! He's got the dog in him! 1v3! It's doable, and he makes it work, and I did not think that Bandits had that round in the bag, and wow. Lonely just... he's better. He's better. You know what? You've changed your name. I'm gonna call you Lonely by the name that you've chosen. Your name, Yes Daddy. I'll say it once just for you. Just for that clutch, you know?
How dare you?
How dare I? Yes.
We can't call him that.
We can't.
Yuck. No. I mean, he was for that round. I guess we can give him that, right? Yeah. He shouldn't have had that before. And I gotta say, yet again, like I said in the early round when we saw Yoet's life try to swing inside of Master Bedroom, I feel like a lot of the members for Naughty Sausages just now did a lot of ill-intentioned swings when they really didn't have to. And if they do swing as well, taking those 1v1 swings is not the best option. Especially against Lonely, as you saw. He's able to capitalize on those and obviously win himself in the round altogether, just by finding those 1v1s. Don't give them the 1v1s, it's a 3v1.
Yeah, it's... Naughty Sausages, they just... for some reason, they feel like they have to take those gunfights, and maybe it's just that they're getting bored or a little bit antsy. I don't know the reasoning behind it, but it cost them the round, and sometimes those sort of deciding rounds, deciding factors can cost you the games, and obviously this is a best of 3, but it can cost you the map, for sure, and you can't allow that to happen when it's such a free round in your hands, and you just gift those ones.
Especially with the first 2 picks as well being quite strong in terms of the comfortability for both of these teams and their fragging potential and everything. We've got Oregon and then Villa, so both the teams equally as comfortable, I would say, on both of these maps. So in terms of that, you can't lose that very first round map easily. If you lose it, it's going to be really hard to work it back. We've seen how much of a rarity it is for us to take it to a 3rd map and the team who lost the first map to win. It's only happened once before, so I don't see it happening that often. So Bandits, Naughty Sausages, you got to give us a close competition here.
Yeah, I think with this top floor side, they've lost it twice now, so I don't know if that was the right decision by them. They couldn't go downstairs again. They got to wait this round, and then they can go back, but they could have gone to a tertiary side, and it might have been the better option, but they're confident that they can do it this 3rd time round. And Hills, he's playing in this attic head holes, and it's interesting that they're playing that drone denial there so that you can't see through those head holes if you do have a drone. But MML, he's going to utilize that nade and chuck it on through and take out the likes of Hills. That'll be your Legion and your attic player off the board. And Drift, he's going to find Orion. So Bandits finding the 2 opening picks. Captain Oz pre-play C4, not going to connect, and Harry, he's on the rope, so 2 players off site. It's just life here in Kids, holding down the fort. Can he stop this push come out from Bandits, or are they just going to charge on through?
It's being given away quite easy to them as well, but the grenade's going to come through, and Bandits collecting up 2 and leaving it down to just Harry Yam. A lot of roamers on site left them so much passage to get the control, and a flawless round in do will say, Bandits, we are the stronger team on this site.
Yeah, I think they're just playing off the momentum of that previous round, you know, Lonely sort of showing that, you know, anything's possible no matter what happens within the round. So giving Bandits the confidence to just take the site and take what's theirs and take those gunfights, and it worked out for them this time. So I wonder if Naughty Sausages, they need to play it a little bit better. They need to switch things up. They do have the access to this basement side again, so they won this site quite comfortably last time, but I'd imagine Bandits are aware of Captain Oz's position on this backstairs and the way that he aggressively plays it, so maybe they'll be able to shut him down, and maybe we'll see another Bandits round. But Naughty Sausages, they just need to... They need to change their entire playstyle right now. It's just not countering the way that they think it's going to work against a team like Bandits. It just needs to change. Otherwise, we're going to see this happen time and time again.
I mean, of course, Bandits losing this before. Now that they have a little bit of intel on how they're going to play, they can adapt and sort of work around what they saw last time, which I believe that they can do. Judging by the lineup, it looks like JPK is going to focus himself on getting that big tower control, that T3 like he did last time. And it looks like, just judging off by the spawns of the team as well, that might be looking like they want to do the exact same push. Now, it didn't work out well for them last time, but now they have a little bit more of an intel on where the positions are, so hopefully they're able to win out their engagements first, rather than fall objective to it last time.
Something that I haven't really considered is placing Fenrir, his fear gadgets outside, so being able to gain intel not only from inside the map and near the site, but also outside and into these entrances like bunkers, so they know that there's one near here and they can sort of focus some of their attention to it. Now MML just trying to clear some of this barbed wire utility, maybe some ADSs, but none there. He'll just find the barbed wire, but there is a BP, I do believe, in that corner from the dock, so gonna gain a lot of intel if he chooses to swing in there, and hopefully he has the better of that gunfight. But JPK is going to make his way into tier 3 with the intel from his team saying the all clear. Now he's just holding the angle, making sure no one comes up to throw a cheeky C4 or go for a cheeky swing. And I think Captain Oz, he's debating it, but nothing to come of it just yet.
Rotates pre-established as well into Attic is going to give Hills a little bit of a leadway in terms of rotating from one side of the map to the other. So Bandits need to be a little bit careful of that, and they have to play that intel game, making sure that the map is clear before they do their initial engagement as well. Obviously, pushing these backstairs is what they were quite comfortable at last time. Didn't work out for them, but this time with the flashes in hand, it's going to be able to pull off Captain Odds from his position, maybe help you get some control as well. But you're going to have to do some work in terms of getting information, though, before you do so. And obviously, that checklist that indicates that you need to clear out these roamers, which Hills, I believe, is still on the lurk. You haven't dealt with him yet.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slower round than we're used to from these two teams, but it's definitely working out for the side of Naughty Sausages. Harry able to find MML. Captain Oz on these backstairs. They're still not able to deal with that position, and he's played it smart. He's rotated off, so a lot better play from the side of Naughty Sausages. And now they're just going to run down the clock. 35 seconds. Bandits, they're forced to push now. They're forced to take these solo engagements. There's one backstairs. There's one on bunker. And now the push is coming out. They've got the incandelas. They're waiting for the swings. Eraser coming down these stairs. Doc with the prone angle, but Eraser to find him. And he does get flashed by his own teammate, so he's going to sort of halt his approach. But Drift to find one. Eraser to find a second. And Naughty Sausages, they're not able to hold it down just yet, Elijah. Harry, though, he does find one, so it's a 2v2. 7 seconds. Lonely, he finds one. And now it's all left to Harry in what looked like a Naughty Sausages round. And he finds...
No! You're not covering!
The cover! Where is it?
Oh, no. That is not the end of the round that you want.
They found their momentum. They found their push onto the site. And it looked like it worked, but all they had to do was cover the plan, and it would have been theirs. But unfortunately, the time on the clock had run down, and all they had to do was find the planner, and the round was theirs. So, bit of a messy round from Naughty Sausages, though. That was not the cleanest of rounds from them. What, a 4v2, no, a 5v2 or 5v3, Elijah? And somehow turned into a 2v1.
Yeah, they clutched it back from a 5v3, it was. They had a bunker player as well. They had it backstairs, and they had the Candelas to drop that E-box hatch as well. So they played it quite aggressively. They managed to work themselves back some kills, and it put them in their favor, but a lot of issues there, I would say, for Bandits. They struggled again to work out that Captain Oz position on those back stairs. They couldn't deal with their shotgun. It obviously gave Captain Oz a kill, a huge kill as well. Obviously, they were able to clutch it back, but with the intel that you had and knowing that Captain Oz was going to play that position again with a shotgun, you didn't really find a position to counter that. You had the flashes, but you used them early on, so you had no util to use that really gave you a pathway needing to isolate that gunfight. And obviously, he was able to capitalize on that, find himself an easy kill, and then put the round in his favor. And Naughty Sausages, they did work it back. They are able to win it by the skin of their teeth. Naughty Sausages can't make that sort of mistake again. Thankfully to them, though, they're going back upstairs, which Bandits haven't lost this site yet. Hopefully, Naughty Sausages, they have a little bit of an answer, of course, but you can't hope too much.
No, you never know how these rounds are going to go, and that's just evident from how these last few rounds have occurred. And there's just so much clutch potential for both these teams in dire situations. So it's a good series so far, and I'm keen to see how it progresses. But right now, 1 minute into the round, and Bandits, they're sort of struggling with taking this master control. They're not really opting to push on that attic side either, so it's sort of a one-way push, and it's already not working out for them as Captain Oz is able to shut down Organiser, and that's your buck off the board. So only one more set of flashes, and that's from the Lions. So they're going to utilize that to clear the shield, but now they have none to execute onto the site. There's still more Wamitis to clear, and there's no nades left either. So no lethal utility to come out, but Orion, he's going to find JPK. And MML, he's on a slither of HP, life-defying drift, and I think we're going to get that 3-3 half, Elijah.
It looks like it at the moment, as Naughty Sausages have the biggest answer we've seen from them yet. With the Yokai drone still being available, it's going to be able to spot out Lonely as well at the hills. He's going to be able to do a run out from the bottom of White Stairs, and obviously he's trying to rotate himself to get a little bit safe. Unable to do so successfully. So Naughty Sausages with a very, very strong round for the very first time in winning that upstairs defense. Now we go to a 3-3 half where they are able to switch and see how strong they can prevail on their attack. Maybe Bandits are just as strong on defense. We will have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think, you know, even though in Bandits' eyes they could have won a few more rounds on the attack there, 3-3 split on Oregon, that's, you know, still a decent position to be in. Now Naughty Sausages, they have to be on that attack. They have to be the aggressors, which they're very, very good at. So maybe being on attack favors them a little bit more than the defense. But right now, it is at that even scoreline. So it's anybody's game. MML, a little bit of a close impact there. Gonna take some of your HP, but that's okay. Not all is lost. But I think for Bandits, just finding that lead going onto that switch up and trying to realize that Naughty Sausages, they love playing those that aggression and finding their solo plays. If you're aware of it, if you're able to shut it down early, then you can run down the clock. Because we know that Bandits, they know how to run down the clock. They know when to take their gunfights, but sometimes they get a little bit antsy as well. So hopefully they're a little bit more patient, a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Composed?
Composed, that's the one.
That'll be a good way to put it. But we've seen some ill-intentioned swings as well from both of the sides of this matchup, I would say. So we've seen Naughty Sausages do it before, which can be really punishing if you're on the attack side as well. Taking engagements when you haven't got that person there to help you with a refrag or anything like that can put your team in a really big deficit. You can see it coming into effect now as Ayana reading into the fact that there are two people close by to him that might be able to take a different sort of approach. This time, playing an aggressive approach inside of Armory though. Position going to be given away, as you can imagine, to the sound cube, but it doesn't look like Organiser is too aware of it at the moment. He's focusing his attention just on Master Bedroom, waiting for that push.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody is on that Armory cam calling for Organiser, if anyone is to push through that side. And I couldn't really see on the drone there, but he is aware that there's somebody in that hall now as the cam is shot out. So now he just has to play off of the sound. Now he has to just play off of his instinct as somebody is pushing there. He still has an Aruni gate, but it is burned out, and there is the barbed wire for the sound cube. But JPK to find Hills, and that's a influential frag if I've ever seen one. That's a ying. So no real quick executes or aggressive executes to come out from Naughty Sausages in terms of those Candelas. So The wall will be open. They do have that avenue to go down, but it's only a jump through, so maybe they're going to utilize that last ace charge somewhere else.
Really speaks into the team communication and the synergy that Bandits bring, with reading into the fact that they got that very first pick and giving up that trophy control as well. But Ace coming into the play to open up the armory wall is going to leave him an avenue to pick up JPK. Your Warden as well. So 1.5 onto a 1.5. You're going to be able to lose it to the attacking side this time, though, as Ace's gun will shred through you. Your Alive going to be able to pick up a kill and a flurry on the side of Naughty Sausages. It's going to leave it down to just one last member on the side of Drift now. On Bandits, need to clutch it back. Now, we've seen clutches like this happen before in a DMR. It's not completely out of the realm of question. He can pull it back if he manages to hit his shots, because it does pack a punch. He's able to get the down onto life now. A little bit of damage being done to Orion in the process of trying to get inside of the side to run into the Aruni gate. But the plant is going down. 24 seconds left. A 1.5 not being enough. You're looking the wrong way. Harry M finding the very last pick in the round.
Yeah, I think both these teams, just on the defense, so antsy, Elijah. They can't sit still. They want to go for these picks, and it just seems like the swings aren't working out for either team right now on that defense. And now we've got an interesting situation. Naughty Sausages in that lead on the switch-up, so they got to be careful about losing these defensive rounds, because like we like to talk about, it should be a little bit easier than that attack, but both teams struggling with this top floor site, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not overly surprised in terms of it. I feel like a lot of people are really comfortable at attacking this site. They know exactly what to do in terms of getting that addict control, focusing master, depending on the execution that you want to do, obviously, and those soft floors coming into play as well, with those grenades that you can potentially pick up and isolate these kills. I feel like teams have learned to play this site effectively and beautifully in the coming adaptation. So I'm not overly surprised that teams struggle to defend it, but sometimes you have to be able to have an answer. Right? Otherwise, if you fall this many times, you're going to find it a little bit hard to pick yourself back up. But that's exactly what you have to do. Right? Pick yourself back up. Go to the next round.
Yeah, there is still time in this game and in this map to pick yourself back up. There's only one round difference, so plenty of time to adapt and overcome, but can't let too many more rounds, be the result of that. Otherwise, you will lose the game, and that goes for either team right now. It's anybody's game, but you are Bandits. You gotta put in a little bit more work here on this second attempt of Kids Dorms. Now, they know that they love pushing this attic side. They are bringing that gridlock for the flank, but JPK once again finding the opening pick. He was able to find two from this exact same position. He's already found one once again. Is he gonna be able to find another? But having that ace, I think that's a huge pick to get you. Last time he took out the Ying. This time he's taking out the hard breach, which they utilize that breach to get through the site and get that plant down, as well as get a few picks from as well. So maybe a different story already this coming round, Elijah.
It looks like it. That's going to force them to take a little bit of a plan B. Now, of course, they have the can openers to use, which I believe Hills used inside of Attic, so he still has one left, and he has to choose and where to use that as well. Luckily, Life, though, being able to pick up a roamer downstairs, Drift falling to that as well, and doing a significant amount of damage in return. You are unable to find the confirm that Life is left down to just about 1 HP. Now, he's trying to clear that top armory now. Flash is coming into play, but the ADS is doing a lot of work and denying them from getting that control, as Hills is doing a little bit of lurking, but none to be come out just yet. But MML is going to be able to shut down Captain Oz. Try to work it back as much as you can. The pre-fires will do. The clone being dealt with as well in terms of denying that information, and you're still holding out this position in Trophy quite strongly, despite you eventually about to be pinched by 2 positions. Now, I believe that Organiser is solely relying on the support that JPK brings as well to the 1.5 inside of that attic position. Last time he lost that engagement thanks to the ace that had opened up that long angle into Armory Hall. Now, Warden being the player that you want in this position as well to be able to hold your support. Unfortunately, though, you're unable to hold there any longer. You're dealt with.
Yeah, a bit of a distraction from the Capital in Attic, able to divert JPK's attention to the Attic, and then he could no longer hold that position. Now, Harry M, he's going to walk into the site. He's going to take out the games player, but then we got the swing from MML, but Hills to find the refrag, and now we're in a situation where JPK has to clutch. Life is low, and he is the one holding the position, so if he finds any sort of damage, He will fall, and JPK with the triple, and he will find the round, and we're back to that 4-4 scoreline.
A game of chess between these two. It has become, with round after round just being forfeited to each other, as they are not letting them get too much of a distance in terms of getting the scoreboard leadway. Looks like they are wanting to fight and take us to that overtime. Now, I know I heard you say before we headed into this map, KJ, is that you weren't expecting it to be too close in terms of that overtime. You were thinking like 7-4, 7-5 maybe. But it looks like they want to take us that full distance of 15 rounds, just judging by the mentality of both these teams and what they're showing us.
Yeah, when one comes to push, the other will come to shove, and that is exactly what is happening right now. We do go to the basement for the first time for Bandits, so it'll be an interesting one to see if they will be just as successful as Naughty Sausages were on this side. I'm pretty sure they won it both times round. A little bit of a closer one the second time round for Naughty Sausages, but they're bringing the Goyo Bandits, and we love seeing the Goyo on this side. They also have the smoke as well, so the doubles and I are coming out from Bandits. It's just whether they can play that time, whether they can play those picks a little bit better than we saw Naughty Sausages play. So hopefully they don't get antsy. We have seen them get antsy in the first round of their defense. Hopefully it doesn't happen again, but a huge round from JPK that time round, and I think that definitely changes the way that the game could have gone. I think if Naughty Sausages won that round, we could have had a different story here in round 9.
Looks like they're trying to focus themselves on a little bit of a small tower across take, and they'll be able to do that easily as well thanks to the global utility that Captain Oz is bringing out of spotting out these roamers. Now, if they so choose to do a little bit of an aggressive play, which normally we see their Bandits would, they really like that roam potential in terms of catching them off guard as well, but thanks to the Jackal, the position of that will be revealed. MML, though, still hasn't been spotted up here, and is able to collect a kill onto Captain Oz. That is Jackal removed this early on, despite having the footprints to your avail.
Yeah, I guess, Jaeger, he never, took a step into kitchen, so he was just able to hold that angle, and he played it rather well, and props to MML there, and that gives him that man advantage. Now they can play the time, but they have the Habana, and there's no Cade clause, so they're able to open up these hatches quite early. Now that, for the most part, Bandits have fallen off. They do have a Razor on these back stairs here, ready to take an engagement, but for the most part, everyone is back on that side, ready to hold it down. So, gotta do something here. Drift does go for a cheeky swing, but a little bit too late, I'd like to say, as Orion has already gone into this green hole and is safe just holding that angle.
I do like the time being choked out at the moment for Naughty Sausages. They do have 3 smoke canisters left, and obviously all the Goyos have been placed down, so they managed to choke out this much time. When it comes down to those last crucial seconds, you're going to find it is going to be an all-out bloodbath. It looks like they're setting themselves up for a little bit of a split push now, as Harry M has made his way into the bottom of Laundry Stairs. You've got a little bit of support from the angles into Freezer, but none of Razor has anything to say about it. He's got the angle. He'll be able to clean up life and leave it down to the just 3 members now on Naughty Sausages, and all of them being split apart other than the 2 on the side of the Laundry. Orion and Harry M going to dedicate themselves for this push. The flashes to go in as well. Ashcharge is going to have to deal with that deployable shield, but the smoke canisters getting deployed now is going to be able to deny them from getting that control. You're trapped inside of E-Box here as the impacts rain through. The Hellfire is being popped as well, leaving you absolutely disposed, unable to do anything in this round at all. Lonely finding a pick for himself onto Hills. We'll leave it down to just 20 seconds left with only 2 members left. Harry M going to take the very first engagement, but a double for Bandits. It's going to make the round look quite easy, like there wasn't any competition to begin with.
Flawless round for them, and that's how you play that basement site. You potentially find that opening pick, and that's exactly what MML did, and he played it well. He didn't re-aggress. He didn't try and go for more kills. He didn't, get a little bit greedy. He played it well. He rotated back to the side and played the time, and the rest of his teammates also did the same, and look how it turned out. Flawless round, no bodies dropping, and they're back in the lead of this match. So they're going to find round 9 and put themselves in that 5-4 lead. Now they're going to have to go to this tertiary site So a bit of a harder site to defend and attack. It's a bit of a wild card site, I'd like to say. You never know which way it is going to go. And I think, though, for Bandits, if they continue to play like that, Elijah, it's definitely going to go their way more than Naughty Sausages. I think going on to this attack, it doesn't seem like they're as confident with taking that map control in terms of finding the refrags as well. I think if they are going to be that aggressive, especially Captain Oz, you know, Jackal clearing like that, you got to have a teammate to back you up if you are to fall, so you can find that refrag and ensure that you aren't in that disadvantage.
Exactly, you need to have that support there ready to pick up the kill if you so do fall as well, rather than losing an important player that quickly and letting them get away unpunished. It isn't the start of a round that you want, and obviously it didn't work out for them. Now they're gonna have to push a little bit of a different site and territory coming into play, as they've won it twice now, or they're gonna have to go to this uncomfortable site, which we didn't get to see Naughty Sausages defend, as obviously they weren't looking forward to it. Now Bandits, though, they're gonna find themselves feeling a little bit comfortable, but in terms of the amount of util that Bandits have brought to deal with this, you have to do a lot of clearing.
Yeah, and they have all of this intel to be fed to them with these Legion mines. And it's just, they're sort of stalling out on this clear. MML are finding, once again, the opening pick of the round. And he'll find Harry, so that'll be your Habana. That'll be one of your hard breaches down for the count. But you still have the thermite in place. You're able to open up that game's wall, but a nice shot from Captain Oz. But there we go, a refrag from Organiser. So Bandits playing that refrag game. And unfortunately for Naughty Sausages, they are doing the same right now. And there'll be that one man down, and we're almost halfway in the round. They still have yet to find this top floor control.
It is not all lost. We can bring it back. It is that one man down advantage, but of course, you've got all the util that you definitely need to push this back. You've got the OCE shield, so you can still isolate some kills as well. Obviously, 2 kills into your favor as well. It's just going to make that easier, as Life and Hills be able to connect the kills onto 2 players on the side of Bandits. Now, that'll leave it down to your favor now, as you're in a 3v2. Leave it up to a 3v1 now, as Life is able to connect the kill onto Organiser. Now, the plan is going down. Orion's going to be the player to do so. Drift needing to deny that as he's pushing up the kitchen halls. Doesn't look like they've got intel on his position, but the sound cue you're hopefully giving away. They're able to get a kill to elude him on the first round, but Orion finally connecting it in the end. Bandits, what looked like it was your round. Naughty Sausages out of nothing. They're able to collect it.
Yeah, they were able to find that opening pick, but not translate that into that round win, and that's what I'm talking about, that tertiary site. It's a tricky one to hold sometimes, and unfortunately Bandits let it slip through their hands, and now we're back to that 5-5, so whoever wins this round right here, right now, will secure that overtime and that match point. So if they do get that match point, they have the potential to end it the following round, but both teams, if we're following this narrative, we're probably going to go to that overtime that you were talking about, Elijah, and my prediction of that 7-4, 7-5 would be false, but it still can come true.
I think we'll take the full distance, especially with the sort of lineup that Naughty Sausages are bringing out this time. Now, finally utilizing those Rentero drones of Flores. They're going to be coming out now by Captain Oz, and a weapon to have as well. 1.5 scope. I don't remember the name of the gun, but I know it packs quite a punch. I know it is the secondary that comes with Thatcher. I used to use it a lot myself, so I know the potential that comes in terms of the fire rate. If you manage to hit your shots with Captain Oz, 9 times out of 10 he'll hit. We saw the nice shot that he hit last time. I don't know how he managed to hit it through the door frame. It was crazy. He's able to really unlock the potential that it brings. Hopefully those Rentero drones can stay up as well, because you need it to clear these deployable shields that have become such a pest for you in the past.
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't get to see much Flores anymore, so we don't really get to talk about his loadout as well as that ability. So, you know, having that, I do believe it is the AR-33.
Oh, Captain? Huh?
What happened?
What?
He died. What happened? He died to his own car. I don't know how that happened, but maybe we cursed him talking about Flores, and we were
gassed
saying
him
that
up
we
too
don't get to
much.
see him that often, but I guess we're not going to see him at all within this round at the very least. And the mute, it got mute jammed, and it doesn't reset the timer, right? It goes
No,
to
it
whatever
doesn't.
it,
It just-
went.
yeah.
So that is unfortunate. I guess well played to Lonely with the mute jam placement, but Drift able to find the second onto Harry, but Orion with the response onto MML, and that's a tough sort of
messy
aspect
start.
of this round, and you can't be letting things like that happen.
Oh no, that's just... You hate to see it. You love to be it. You gotta have a little bit of a laugh at that. I'm sure Lonely had a little bit of a chuckle when he read the chat from Captain Oz. Said in the chat that it was the mute jammer that was able to meet your demise. So effectively, you could say that mute, his ability killed you. Dying to a mute jammer.
Yeah, Lonely can claim that kill. That is all his. And they are getting this out of control now, so the mute jammer will be disabled and the exothermic charge will open that right up. But Ash gonna open up that armory wall into Master and gonna be pressuring anyone in this trophy. So they're gonna rotate out, but Orion, he's gonna find the frag here in Attic onto JPK. Now we're back to that 3v3. So although unfortunate circumstance in the beginning of the round for Naughty Sausages, they've been able to prevail and find those picks back. So they persist, they push on, and the last few seconds of the round will determine whether it's theirs or whether it's Bandits.
Really well thought out reposition as well has led them to these circumstances, but Drift able to connect the kill onto Orion will leave it down to just Hills and Life to clutch it back. 10 seconds left. You got to walk through the Aruni gate. The sound cue will give away your position, but you've got the cover from Organiser to help pick up the kill, and Drift, he's going to be there for the support as well and making use of that DMR to clean up that very last player. So although you tried to pull it back from that very messy start, it still went in the way of Bandits.
Yeah, I think, you know,
Secured match point.
I don't know what the comms would have been like after, you know, an occurrence like that, but I can imagine that it wouldn't be the best, you know, losing a player to something that, you know, shouldn't happen. It's definitely going to be tilting, and who knows
tell you
how
if
that
it was
round could have
me.
gone.
If that happened to me and I died to a Rintero drone of my own ability, and I died because of a meat jammer, I believe my comms would sound something like an earthquake on my desk, just rattling everything, dude. That sucks. My mental would be chalked, which hopefully Captain Oz's mental is still a little bit stable for the rest of these rounds that you've got ahead of you. Match point now. Bandits have secured themselves. You need to have that good mental if you want to bring it back.
You definitely do, but maybe that's the game, nerfing Captain Oz. Maybe there's been a recent patch, you know, they've seen the way that he's been playing. They're like, hey, we can't be allowing you to keep succeeding like this. We're going to have to shut you down and die to a Rotero. So, but this time it is Harry M on the Flores, and he's going to give it a go and hopefully not find himself victim to the same thing. Captain Oz, he's back on his lovely Jackal. That didn't really work out too well for him last time, but he's choosing a different route to take, and he's able to work out that the player that was in this Z hole bottom white has rotated back to the side, but there is MML in this green hole. Life almost getting timing there, but they have two people in the back stairs, but they'll actually take a lot of damage. And I think Life pretty much claiming one kill with the amount of damage he did. He tagged Drift to about 40 HP as well as MML, so good trade for damage there.
Sending them back down with the tail tucked between their legs as well. Two players falling really low HP this early on, and the map control being forfeited with still 2 minutes remaining in the round. It's going to leave Naughty Sausages in a really comfortable position in terms of setting up their execute. Now you can see the X-Kairos and Habana coming into play now as you're dealing with that E-Box hatch. I believe Laundry has already been dealt with as well, so your next step is obviously doing this freezer hatch, which you've got two players nearby in the bottom of that freezer. You've got JPK and MML. JPK utilizing that 1.5 and holding that top position for anybody potentially trying to push into freezer. Lonely, though, has made his way onto these back stairs with a shotgun, hopefully, or maybe even an SMG in his hand, is able to pick up a kill. But a median swing, though, is going to remove him quite easy. And it's Captain Oz to deny that as well and let you know that, hey, that's my position. You're not allowed to play there. And he's cleaned him up really easily. And that's your smoke as well. You don't want to lose that player early on because that falls it all back onto the Goyo packs, which are already being popped on the side of Bandits. Montero Drone's going to be able to reveal the position of MML and force him to remove out. He'll be able to collect the kill onto that, and it's a 3v5.
Yeah, look at just the usefulness that you're getting out of a character like Flores. When he's in play, you're able to get so much worth out of him. And Captain Oz able to find a second, and that'll be Drift. And Hills, he will fall down, but Life will find JPK. So Hills can still be picked up, and it's all left to Organiser. He's going to ace to be able to win this round out and deny them from going to this overtime. But the plant will go down, and it's forced to retake. Can he do it? He finds one, but can he find the following three? Hills still to be picked up, though, so it's definitely doable if he chooses engagements right. There is one in this freezer position, but he's going to walk down this long hall. He's going to try and take down this player in Laundry. He's able to find the one. It's just the one in freezer and the one in bottom Laundry stairs. He takes a lot of damage, but the prone angle's able to secure Naughty Sausages, and we're going overtime.
It was almost a doable clutch there. Captain, I believe, was able to connect the shot inside of that freezer player on Life. I think it was completely doable. I think Captain, we've seen him do some amazing ace clutches before on border. Trying to bring it over to here, though, a little bit harder, especially up against the Bandits. So Bandits shutting it down. They're able to collect themselves yet another round in a very strong manner as well. On a downstairs side, KJ, I think we can confirm the narrative that downstairs is attacker-sided in these matchups.
Well, I think for Naughty Sausages, it may be, but for Bandits, it's not really the case. They lost their attacks on that defense, on that basement site, sorry. So it's going to be an interesting one, but they're going to go back down here on the overtime. They're going to choose their defensive round that they get to start off on the overtime to be that basement side. Now, they just lost this. So maybe they're going to adapt, and maybe they're going to try and fix what happened last time. And I guess the issue that really arose was maybe losing that smoke. You know, you had to pop those Goya packs a little bit early, and then they were able to just push onto the site, find those frags, and you couldn't really stop the unstoppable force of Captain Oz. You know, pushing down those back stairs, able to find two, and then Life being able to find some as well. And that Flores that Harry M brought as well, it just... They were working with great cohesion, and it just really showed that round and resulted in them carrying over into this overtime. So now, can the clutch be worth it? Can, you know, staying in this game be worth it for Naughty Sausages, or are they going to let Bandits get that lead again?
I believe last time, because they lost that smoke as well, it gave them a lot of confidence in dropping that E-box hatch, because pushing into a shotgun when you're holding that E-box hatch is it's really scary, especially if you're trying to take that elbow position. So if you manage to keep those shotguns alive, I believe it'll add so much depth in needing to be careful in pushing. And that'll add a lot of pressure in terms of needing to think about how you do your execution. So keeping them alive, although even if it doesn't have a huge effect late in the round, it does add a lot of scariness. But already, a kill being dropped, Orion being the sole carrier of the diffuser, is going to leave it inside of the Zulu Hall, where there are two players on the lurk, ready to set up a little bit of a shark bait.
And that's the thing, and it's the hard breach off the board, so they can't open up these hatches. And Eraser, he's going to shut down Hills, as the Habana would only really be aware of JPK's position, but not Eraser's. Now, the diffuser's stuck there. It's not like they can push the side. Eraser finding the C4 as well. They've found 3 picks. No damage to be done to any of them. They're just going to rotate off. They've got all the time in the world to talk things out and sort of work out how they want to go about this next minute of the round, whereas Naughty Sausages, they got to find something out of nothing. They got to find these picks. They got to work together here. You can't really go for any solo plays, as they're just going to be able to find the refrags onto you. So he's going to push down these freezer stairs, but nice shot from Harry, able to shut down JPK, and that will be the first of many hopefully, for Naughty Sausages. Otherwise, they're going to have to be, once again, in that deficit and forced to clutch once again in the following round.
Well, a little bit of a different statement now from Bandits. Now, Harry M being able to clean up the kill onto MML, but a different terms of effect has come. Now that you've managed to keep your smoke player alive, the smoke canisters are being distributed. You haven't dealt with that deployable shield, so that's going to make it a lot harder as well. Harry M is going to be fooled, left it down to just Life to push it back, but the smoke canisters, the Goyo pack still coming into effect, with you just getting peppered left, right, and center from the bullets from all different directions. It's going to leave you to take a different approach. It'd be a fast drop into Freezer. You're able to connect onto 1 kill, try to go for the second, but it's not enough as Drift is able to connect up to 2 as the bleed out from Harry M is finally dealt with.
Yeah, that was definitely a different round from Bandits, and it showed that Naughty Sausages, they're sort of lacking on that drone game, that intel game, and I guess they didn't really utilize the Jackal to find where those players were playing in that Z hall and that top freezer stairs and that security position, and they didn't really, you know, take the steps to find the vert either and sort of find that step, you know. They skipped that step and it definitely cost them that round. And when you're in the overtime, you can't allow that sort of thing to happen. But they're going to have their own go at this defense. So we did see that Bandits, they lost both their attacks on this site. One of the rounds did come down to a 2v1 in their favor, actually. But they were planting and they had no time left. So they're going to be a little bit careful on the way that Naughty Sausages play this. And hopefully this time, they can shut down Captain Oz on these back stairs, Elijah.
You gotta hope, right? There's no way that you allow Captain Oz to play that position 3 times in a row and do it successfully as well. And you gotta have an answer to it at least. And just by the lineups, it looks like you're running the exact same thing. So maybe you need to take a little bit of a different approach. JPK, yet again, he's gonna be able to utilize that MR, getting yourself up. But oh, a C4 this early on? How?
Where
Through
did that?
No!
Was that a notch?
No, it couldn't have been, right? It was! No way! Through the barricades! A big Kobe to answer a first kill onto the Ayana, removing the frag grenades as well. On a prominent player of MML who just found himself on... Wait, hold up, KJ.
Hold the phone.
Look at how many people on Bandits are on 10 kills.
Yeah, it's a nice balance, you know. Lonely being that hard support, he's on that 6 kills. But, like, it's just every player of Bandits is putting in the work. There's no star player here, I feel like. And it's sort of the same story on the side of, you know, Naughty Sausages as well. Look, you got 2 players on 9, 1 on 8. But Life, he's definitely putting in that little bit extra and being able to find quite a few picks. But they're going to be careful of this player playing on this big tier 1 door, and I don't think they spotted him. But the shotgun's out. They don't know he's there, Elijah.
That's going to be a huge detriment as well. Position being given away in terms of you shooting out that mute jammer, but this is Captain Oz, KJ. This is his realm. This is his house. This is what he brought with his Monopoly money. You aren't able to clear him out. He's going to have a huge effect, and I do believe JPK bringing the shotgun was a direct answer into Captain Oz playing this position. Are you able to use the shotgun onto 1? The SMG is going to come out as well to see if you can collect up JPK, and you do so effectively, but Lonely is going to be the man to shut you down into a 2v4 deficit, but it never should have happened to begin with.
That is Captain Oz, and, you know, rent is due, rent is paid. And it's just his property. That is his land, and he is taking it. And Life, they've taken themselves into this last, final round of this map. They're keeping themselves in this, Elijah, and we're going the full distance. We're going to that round 15. Bears get to go on that defense. Naughty Sausages on the attack. Where will they choose to go? Both teams winning out that basement site. So they're forced to go to this kids, which both teams struggled a little bit in their defensive, you know, respective defensive halves. So they got to be careful on how they play this out. I don't think they're going to risk going to that tertiary site. They did not do well the time that they chose to play it. So they are going to go to that kids' dorm side, and you got to hope that they play it right.
I feel like I'm eating my words a little bit. At the beginning of the game, I said to myself, yo, Bandits, they're really good at that roam clear. That Naughty Sausages need to be a little bit careful of the effect that it brings. But Captain Oz flipping that completely and just finding a way to weave through the intel that Bandits had put on display. Finding himself 2 kills. Obviously, ultimately, altogether, putting the entire round on your back and leading it in your way quite effectively.
Maybe that Flores, kill really got to him, and he wanted to step it up. So he definitely did so within that round, but there's still 1 round to go. You've got to still have some fight in you if you want to take this map win. Otherwise, we're going to map 2, and you're forced to win it there. But they're just going for a bit of a roam clear. They're going to be careful of the drift in this shower hall. Now, he is slowly creeping up to this double door, and if they're not careful, he's going to find these pick on these stairs. But right now, he's laying patiently for them to make the first move. He does take out the drone. He's going to fall off, but he's got to be careful. They aren't really holding the lines of sight, so the other 4 are pushing from this Z-hole side, and they're going to use that Ash charge to get rid of the Mute Jammer. But the shots through the wall. Captain Oz, you almost took off Michael's head, MML's head, sorry.
I'm amazed that didn't manage to connect. The hole was there. He was looking through it. Not a single bullet managed to connect to the forehead of MML though, but Organiser, his forehead will be cleaned up nice and easy from life. Get himself a nice little headshot to put you in a 4v5 deficit now as he's on the lurk below to see if he can find yet another kill, but I believe all the roamers focused themselves on the site.
Yeah, there is that Mute creeping down these wide stairs. He is aware from that BP that Life just shot, but he's doing quite well. 15 and 8 right now, almost a 2.0 KD. He's chucked the drone there, but MML, he's in security. He's hiding behind this server rack, and he's just holding that rotate. So if he's not spotted out, maybe he's going to be able to do some damage, being in a cheeky position of his own, and maybe we're going to see a Captain Oz sort of round from him.
They are doing a little bit of droning though through to that kitchen, so MML being able to read into that, gonna drop the hatch and rotate himself back to these stairs. Now it doesn't look like anybody's there watching that rotate as well. Hopefully they've got a little bit of a drone set up to make the intel shared for that rotate, but he's already back into meaty. Now he has 2 options here, whether to push through the kitchen to go back up those white stairs, but Lonely is gonna be able to push out with a shotgun to collect a kill onto Orion. Now that leaves it white stairs is clear. Still on the lurk though, Captain Oz looking to clear up MML. He hasn't been dealt with yet. He is still the prowler in this round. He's found himself a nice kill on the bottom of the laundry stairs. Tossing over to second into Zulu, but peppered sprays back and forth and a flurry of kills across the board for Bandits and Naughty Sausages. JPK finding a pick onto Harry M. We'll leave it down to 24 seconds left for Captain to take on the top of these armory stairs. Still needing to deal with these Iruni gates though, but there has been a hole that's made for you to push into Attic. And JPK is going to be able to clean up the kill. No, the kill will elude him, and Captain Oz will find the best in that engagement, but MML will find a kill onto Life. We'll leave it down to a 2v1 for him to clutch it back. Captain Oz with a few sprays to the wall, the position's giving away, the yellow pings are out, but Lonely with a shotgun is going to be able to clean up that very first half, and Bandits winning that very first map as well. Oregon giving a Bandits 8-7.
What a map to kick us off here in this last semi-final before the grand finals. Bandits, they find the first map, but that was their map pick. And they only just won it by 1 round, and in overtime round, mind you. So, not the best of results for their map pick. And, Naughty Sausages, they get to play on their map pick of Villa, which sort of favors their playstyle that little bit more. So, I wonder, going on to map 2, how they're going to be feeling after that last one. Obviously, they are that mapped out. Bandits have that comfortability of working with that. But, getting an 7-8 result on your opponent's map, that's a pretty decent, scoreline. So I think going to this next map, just a quick reset and really lock in and zone in for your map pick. And I do believe they will be probably on that attack, so they get to keep that momentum going forward. And how do we feel about that first map to kick things off, though, Elijah?
I feel like obviously the closest score of 8-7. Bandits, obviously it was their pick. They only won by 1 round, but I gotta say it's Oregon. You know, it's a very, very comfortable map for a lot of teams as well. So I'm not surprised that it was a close game. And I feel like we're gonna be able to see the exact same thing raining over into Villa as well. Again, yet another comfortable map that you could imagine that both of these teams are well thought out. They've practiced a lot. They know of the map as it's been around for quite a long time now. So I could guess that we're going to see the same sort of result heading into map 2, but you're going to want to hope that Naughty Sausages are able to win their map pick. Otherwise, we won't be able to go to that third map, which is Border, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think it's going to be that we're going to go to that third map. I really, really am looking forward to this next one, though. But I think we're going to go to that quick break. And so don't go anywhere, guys. I know it is a Friday night. I'm sure, plenty of things to do or games to play. But stick around. We've got some more Siege action. And hopefully we see a comeback from Naughty Sausages in map 2. But, stay safe, stay hydrated, and we'll see you guys soon.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back as we're going to head to our map 2. For those of you who are just joining us now, we've just had a very, very hard-fought map 1 against Bandits and Naughty Sausages on Oregon, an 8-7. So Bandits just winning that by the skin of their teeth on a very, very close game. Now we're going to be heading over to Villa, which Oregon was Bandits' pick. So unsurprising, you should be winning your map picks. Now we're going to be heading over to Naughty Sausages' pick, which hopefully they'll be able to collect up a nice little map win for themselves before we head over to our map 3, which we're all excited to see, which is Border. So first up though, we're going to have to deal with the likes of Villa, the treacherous map that we have there. Hopefully, Naughty Sausages can win. What are you thinking though, KJ? Do you think it's going to be a 2-0? I think you predicted a 2-1, right?
I did predict that 2-1. I think, with the way that these teams are playing, we talked about how their roam clears of Bandits, it was really good, but it just wasn't there today. It struggled a little bit more than they usually do. So I think on a map like Villa, there's so much sort of rat potential, I'd like to say, on a map like this. And we've seen the way that Captain Oz played this last time. Did he not drop insane amounts of kills, Elijah? He went 23 something
and 7, I believe it was.
So I'm sure he's looking to do the same as we go back to that map, but against Bandits this time. And I'm sure Bandits will try and shut that down, but they left his pulsar on Oregon, so I wonder if that will be left open on Villa.
Well, I feel like Pulse, if there's any map to be strong at with him, it's this map specifically. We've seen how much of an effect it has on both the common sites that you play. Not only is going to... Actually, no, all the sites. If you really think about it, if you're trying to take that master bedroom control to utilize that verticality that it brings and from downstairs into kitchen upwards, that Pulse is just going to be as strong in sort of denying that push. So all 3 sites, including that tertiary, Pulse has a huge statement to make on every single one of them. So maybe banning it this time against Captain Oz is maybe the right thing to do, unless you think that you can utilize Pulse against Captain Oz better, which, we've seen teams try before. Never really works out.
It's you sort of have to orient your push around that. You have to have it in your process of like your steps. You need to implement it, otherwise it's going to really affect your push entirely. And if you don't deal with it at all, that potential to shut down your plant with that C4 is huge. And you can't always jump up onto tables or go into those concrete positions. Sometimes you're forced to plant on those soft floors, and if you do that, it's sort of game over from there. And with a map like Villa, there's just so much vert potential. You've got most of those floors on those top floor sites is that soft floor. And the only other real ways to counter it is obviously bring that IQ, but that's not a definite solution. The IQ can give you the information. You have to play off said information. So it's whether or not both teams, if they choose to play that Pulse, if the opposition is ready to play off that intel and shut them down. But I guess with a map like this, it really depends on, who sets the pace, because even though Bandits are on that defense, that doesn't necessarily mean that they will sort of win this half. We did see on Oregon that it was a 3-3 split, so maybe we'll see something similar here. But because it is that little bit more frag heavy, attackers have that little bit more freedom with the way that they get to push. It's not all over if they aren't able to find the control straight away. But what do we reckon the bans will be, Elijah?
Now last time they left the Ventero drones of Flores up, but I feel like on Villa it has a lot more pressure in terms of leaving it up or not, because you solely rely a lot on deployable shields and keeper barriers in this map. In terms of holding at that concrete position, maybe adding a lot of pressure on top of the map's position, maybe even facing in towards study as well. So depending if you leave it up or not, maybe you want to use it yourselves, or maybe you just want to get rid of it at all. But very first attacker ban will be rolled out, and it will be Nook, and I'm not too surprised as well seeing the ban come out, as it's the lurk potential. And I believe a lot of the time teams choose to ban that Nook, whether it's Naughty Sausages or Bandits. I feel like they love banning that operator specifically. But the second attacker ban has got to be brought out. It's a buck, KJ. Not the Flores. Not any global utility. It's a buck. The skeleton key looking like it's being a pest.
I think that's a very good ban. I mean, we just talked about how there's so much vert potential, but we were more so talking about the defense. But that, goes both ways. The attackers, they also can do a lot of damage if they choose to take below. And we know that Organiser, he loves that buck. So maybe a bit of a target ban there. I mean, they did ban that Dokkaebi on Oregon, and they know that Lonely likes to play that character as well as Drift sometimes as well. So maybe a bit of a target ban, but the Azami is the second ban. I reckon the Solus will be there to finish it up, and there it is. So no keeper barriers will go up, but the Flores, once again, will be open to play. So if you are running that Flores on the attack, the defense better hope that they're bringing that mute to counteract it.
I mean, it's going to be really hard to use these deployable shields now. The Rentaro drones have been left up. Doesn't look like they're running it though. So, I mean, usually you do start out on that Aviator games first. So maybe they're just reading into that. They don't need it because I feel like the Rentaro drones really shine at the master bedroom, the statue and trophy side.
Well, that's the thing. They're bringing this Wamai, and they're going to be having this shield on top of the maps table. So it's going to be interesting on how they want to take it when they have the limited sort of utility that they have. They can take below, they can nade it, but if they're going to nade it, they got to do it from below if they don't want to have to clear those Wamaitis. So maybe that's the play. They're running 2 sets of nades, so definitely in the books, but they have to clear that downstairs first, and I'm sure with the roam that Bandits love to do, they'll definitely choose to pressure down there if they choose to push it. But it looks like for the most part everyone spawned that fountain side, so it looks like a master push, your classic sort of take on the attack, and they're going to start to push MML out of this master as well as JPK in the statue, or maybe they fall victim to it. But the C4 has been ripped. He's going to do a little bit of a Kobe here.
If they decide to shoot down that barricade, you can imagine that he's going to toss one out, maybe even collect himself up an early kill. But they're repelling on the other side this time as well. Hopefully they're going to be able to set themselves up a drone, able to read into the information. The calls are going to go out to reveal the position of both JPK and MML as they're holding this side of the map. Drones have been set up on Top of East as well, so Captain Oz has got all the information that he needs to do this push. But Life is on top of Red. No, the kill eludes him. He gets away unpunished, but he's got a lot of map control left. Need to be a little bit careful of the deployable shield on top of the maps, but you've got a lot of control this early on. With that Astro side being forfeited, you've got control over the Wolf window jump in as well. 90 control, you're still able to hold up though. So that's going to be the next thing that Naughty Sausages need to deal with. Grenades are going to come through. It will not connect though. Captain Oz finding a lurker kill though, as he's able to connect the kill onto Drift.
Reload.
Don't let Captain Oz get too many kills. We've seen him on Villa. Are we going to see it again? But the nade will be prepped, but a little bit of a fake. He has opened the top of that vault wall there so that he can chuck the nades over, but I don't think there's any mute jammers, so he's not going to have to do that, and he's going to clear this shield as well as all of those Goya packs. So getting all of this utility so early, that is huge for Naughty Sausages right now. If they choose to push that skull, they can do so quite easily, but nades from below. Hills is just trying to get that info, and he's going to maybe find this player, and he does. That's Lonely off the board. JPK to take some damage. He'll actually fall to life. Now it's all up to Organiser here on top main as MML will fall. Organiser does find the kill, but Life with the trade. And what a strong first round from Naughty Sausages.
That was so strong by them. A good performance. Pulled it out. A 1-0 at the moment. They've secured themselves, of course. Bandits, you'd think them being comfortable on that defense, they would have had an answer, but at the moment, Naughty Sausages looking like they are comfortable on their map pick, KJ.
Yeah, I think, being on that attack, Bandits, they just weren't ready for the way that they played that. I mean, they had that Wamai, but for some reason, they were able to clear that shield as well as all of those Goya packs off of one nade. I think 2 Goya packs actually popped there and a shield. So a huge worth for that nade, and I think that definitely affected the way that that round went. But they also bled picks just so easily. And this roam didn't really pay off, Elijah. They gave it up so early, and then it gave all the time in the world for Naughty Sausages to then work out what they wanted to do on the site and then collapse upon them. And maybe Bandits this time round will be a little bit more prepared. I mean, it isn't their map pick, so definitely maybe Naughty Sausages are more prepared on it. But, you know, Bandits have played this map. It's not like it's a new map for them. They've all played it. So maybe it's just waking up.
I think they'll have a really strong answer here. I feel like if there's any side to do so, it will be this one. I feel like they have a lot of potential to be comfortable. They did really well in terms of getting that map control last time, so hopefully it'll be able to reign true yet again, as there is a lot of players dedicating themselves to this side of the map. Positions being given away. It looks like Life is ready to pick up a kill. He's unaware of the position as well yet again. Life finding a lurker out of nowhere, this time actually connecting the kill. Getting the round in the favor for Naughty Sausages yet again.
Yeah, Life, it's usually Hale that plays, but Life, the coach, subbing in for the team and proving to be very worth. He played quite well in that first map and already off to a good start, 4-0 so far, but halfway in the round now, they're already starting to open up this vault, and unfortunately for Bandits, that roam, once again, just not paying dividends for them, and they're just forced to hold down their site. And once you start to get all these angles open, it's a little bit of a kill box. It's a little bit of, I'd like to say, musical statues, as, you know, Orion, he wants to dance, and he's able to shut down Organiser, and just no damage to be done yet to Naughty Sausages. Bandits not able to have a response at all. But Naughty Sausages, they know what they're doing with this take, and they're looking quite comfortable on it so far.
Just punishing every single member of Bandits at the moment for their movements. But Drift, he has an answer though. He'll be able to clean up the captain. Take out Life from his position, but Hills, who will be able to trade the kill back onto JPK. A 2v4 to push back now as Hills is trying to push into hard to study, but taking a brunt of HP off of him will leave Lonely down in the site. And Drift staying on top of Study Stairs, he'll be dealt with, as he is taking so much HP off. Needs to be a little bit careful of the positions, but he is trapped between the Books angle and also the player into Study. But he's able to clear up himself some space, but not enough for Harry M to be able to find a kill.
It's too much for Bandits on that side. It seems that Naughty Sausages, once they find that opening pick, they're able to gain that landing control, gain that 90 control with no punishment. And then from there, they just box them in. They play the study angles, and then they just play off of each other's swings and just able to find the picks necessary to close out the round. So once again, even though, you know, a few kills bled there towards the end, they have the man count to work with. And unfortunate for Bandits, Naughty Sausages, they take that 2-0 lead. And I do believe that's one of the first times in this series where Naughty Sausages has a 2-round lead up over Bandits.
I think Bandits looking like they're struggling on this defense. I think they need to try something a little bit different. And it looks like Naughty Sausages aren't playing around. This time, although finding themselves 2 rounds up in what has been a very successful half so far for them. Bringing out a Monty just to confirm a 3-0. Make sure that they don't allow Bandits any room at all to collect themselves 1 round at all.
Yeah, I think on this map, we were talking about how Naughty Sausages' refrag game, it just wasn't quite there on the attack and the defense compared to Bandits, but oh my, Drift getting picked off from Captain Oz. That's your Legion off the board, and once again, the man count is just in the favor of Naughty Sausages, but a bit of a misplay. Getting greedy, trying to hack those cams and find the phone. JPK playing off that body and realizing that that could be, you know, a potential push from the side of Naughty Sausages and getting that worse. So no more calls to come out from Orion, and now it's back in the, you know, that even Steven man count.
Bandits waking up a little bit by the looks of it, finding themselves their footing and in terms of being comfortable, getting their refrags in, and that's exactly what we like to see from these teams, is making sure that you've got that team play there and ready for you, and obviously it works out. You collect yourselves up some kills, and now you've been able to collect all the control in terms of Study, Aviator, and Ganks. Now you've pushed into landing as well. You're feeling safe on this concrete position. C4 will be made, but it will not connect. Organiser with a quick wide swing will narrowly be able to collect the kill onto Captain, but Life is going to be able to trade it back onto MML. But Captain, he is really low HP. I mean, Organiser, sorry.
Yeah, he is. They have the shield to utilize any intel, be able to peek as a free drone, but you got to be careful of these corners and the angles that a defender can hold. But like you said, Organiser is low, so if they're able to find a pick, whether that be Organiser or not, it will be worth. But Hills, he's got the shield on the back. He's able to get the plant down, and now it's just about holding. But Harry M, he will be taken out from the red stairs, and Lonely to find, JPK to find the other. So very, very good retake from Bandits, and that'll be their first round on the defense. So a lot more comfortable on that trophy statue site, but now that they've won it out, they're forced to go elsewhere. They're forced to either go back to that Aviator Games or choose to go to that tertiary site, which, you know, a lot of teams like to hold, and it's not all that bad in terms of a tertiary site. That dining kitchen, not really do we see that all that often at a living library be played, but that site also isn't all that terrible if you know how to hold it. But dining kitchen will be the choice, and we're seeing that pulse being brought out.
Attackers need to locate and
Obviously dining kitchen being a little bit more complex than the other sites, but if you know your way around it, you're able to hold it successfully. It's really hard for the attack to really do anything, especially if you've got a pulse as well. A lot of C4s, 5 C4s on the lineup at the moment to really unlock the potential of that cardiac sensor. So I feel like if you're able to use it, this time though, it will be Lonely who's running the pulse. So he is that support player, so I feel like he has a lot of comfortability because he is that support guy, right? He can unlock it easily. Pulse on support players, strong, very strong.
You just know that they're going to use their ability over trying to get their own kills and try and feed that information to their team. So I'm sure we'll see Lonely doing just that. But the thing is, you know, Captain Oz, he's on that IQ, so he's able to find some intel for his team himself. And something that is available, which Bandits aren't using, is that Valkyrie. You know, Valkyrie is available, and that has a C4 too. So I'm surprised we haven't seen that in play yet, but we're seeing the pings already coming out from Captain Oz. He's aware of where the pulse is. He knows his own operator and how to utilize it. So why not counter it when the time comes? And I'm sure he's feeding that information to his team. But they have a fuse, Elijah. We haven't seen a fuse all that often on this site. So I wonder if they're going to be able to utilize that to punish those on the site.
A little bit of a harder thing to do, I would say, because it takes a little bit of time to put down those fuse charges, and with the amount of C4s plus the cardiac sensor that are on Bandit's side, if you even try to sit still for too long, I can imagine that you're going to be swept up nice and easily as well. But already the very first kill to go out is Organiser with a swing at the SMG-11. It's able to clear up Captain Oz. Now that's your RQ player, so in terms of potentially spotting out exactly the position that Pulse is playing in, gonna be unable to do so unless you've got the pre-placed drones in your favor. But you can see the yellow pings as the information for Lonely is being shared with the cardiac sensor to potentially find yourselves up a pill if Orion sits still for just a few seconds. You hear the C4, the Velcro strip will be revealed, but nothing to connect.
Yeah, the calls will go out though. The drone will be shot, but he's forced to rotate off. And the C4s, they're being detonated, but nothing to come of it. And the only one left with the C4 is JPK, and he's in this 90 position. So if he's going to C4 anybody, it's going to be horizontally. But MML to find a pick onto Harry, and that will be your gridlock. That will be your flank denial off the board. But Hills, if you just peeked a little bit more, you would realize there is one in the hallway. And he's able to find JPK and take out that camera to deny any more intel. So no more C4s on the side of Bandits. But 48 seconds on the board. Naughty Sausages, they're going to get their act together. They're going to start moving. They're going to start finding this vert and deciding where they want to go with this control. Now, MML, he is in that mudroom position. Life's going to be careful that he doesn't get caught in this crossfire.
Looks like he might be a little aware, but you can imagine if the cardiac sensor can get close enough, the position will be a reveal. But it looks like MML is dedicating to finding the kill. He will do so onto life as well. Try to go for the second. The reveal has been given. A little bit of a jiggle peaks go back and forth, but Lonely is able to connect the kill onto Hills on the outside. But Orion to finally finish off MML will leave it down to just him to clutch back against 3. But Drift with a prone position is able to find the kill and shut down Orion. Now Bandits look like they have a very strong answer here, and hopefully they can keep this momentum in the coming rounds.
Naughty Sausages, they had that 2-round lead, and unfortunately on the other sides, it just doesn't seem like they're playing the same way. They're not playing as together and as sort of structured as they did before, and Bandits having a little bit of a better grip now on the game, and maybe it was just warming up going into map 2. They were a little bit burned out from map 1, and it's just sort of restarting the engines, you know, clearing the mentals and getting back into the game. So they've got themselves back. They've been able to tie things up, and now Naughty Sausages, they're forced to win this round. Otherwise, they've let Bandits gain a significant amount of momentum, and you don't want that to happen. You're on the attack, you know, it's still doable. You're on the defense on the split, but you want to try and get as many attack wins as possible.
I mean, we might be able to see that same narrative that we got to see on Oregon of a 3-3 half, where both of these teams just trading blows for blows. Naughty Sausages winning 2 rounds at a row to start us off with. Bandits having an answer, finding 2 for themselves. If the narrative continues, then the next 2 rounds should be Naughty Sausages, or we might change up the pace in all things and go back to our little 1 round goes to Naughty Sausages, the next to Bandits, and so and so. Guess it's all dependent on how they play out the round. It looks like Naughty Sausages doing for what is comfortable, doing the same sort of push that worked out for them last time. If it's not broken, don't fix it. MML will be the person to directly face into that though, as the calls for Dokkaebi go out to reveal his position. Now he has got support though from both JPK and Organiser, who are holding onto this platform to help stop anybody potentially pushing into Closet. JPK to shut down the very first clone, but no kill to go out though. He is adding a lot of pressure in terms of needing to get that control.
Yeah, I think they're doing a little bit better at holding their ground. We saw them play this site before, and they weren't able to hold this roam. They kept falling back early, or they were able to get themselves picked off. So now it isn't the case, and JPK will actually find the opening pick this time. But the refrags coming in, they double up. They're able to shut down MML. And it's back to that 4v4, and they're forced to rotate back. They don't want to risk losing another pick, but getting your Warden off the board, you know, I don't know if he was running a C4 or if he was running that shield, but he, you know, out for the count, not able to utilize either. But Captain Oz, he's not able to utilize those nades. They have the nades of Hills, and he was able to get a pick from it from below in a previous round, so maybe he will do the same. But they got to find the intel first, and Drift shutting down any intel coming down that 90 hall.
I think unfortunate timing for MML. The Dokkaebi really putting in the work there and catching him off guard. And I gotta say, I think MML was running a C4 as well, because I'm seeing a very lack of deployable shields on the lineup at the moment, or anywhere in the map for Bandits to sit comfortably behind, not even on the map's position or anybody towards study. So that's really that Azami ban coming into play in terms of shutting down those keeper barriers, which forces you to use someone else. And obviously you need to pick between the deployable shield or the C4 if you are MML trying to play that Warden. So it makes it a really hard choice in what you want to utilize in terms of util. But in terms of the util being brought out though, 2 kills to go on the board as Hills able to drift and through the floorboards as well onto Lonely. We'll find 3 in the round. 30 seconds left to clutch it back though, but Life will find a kill onto Organiser, and Hills with a 4th in the round. JPK losing his engagement to him, and on a fire train as well on a low HP. There's no stopping him. You can't stop the Mountain Hills.
He's just walking, and he's just hitting those shots, and Bandits not able to shut it down. So bit of a head scratcher with that one. They were in the lead. JPK, I'm pretty sure he found 2, and unfortunate that they just weren't able to hold on to that round. And now, what was that 2-2 scoreline? And Bandits finding 2 rounds in a row after Naughty Sausages finding 2 rounds in a row. Naughty Sausages able to find that 5th round. Now, This is the last round before we switch sides and respective teams go to the attack and defense and switch things up. And I wonder if Naughty Sausages, they can get a 4-2 split, or if we're going to get, like we've mentioned, that 3-3 split again. And I'm getting deja vu.
Well, in these late rounds, we've seen Bandits wake up, find their footings a little bit. Obviously, losing that last round, they're due for a round win. Otherwise, Naughty Sausages will be able to collect themselves that 4-2 split, which isn't what happened on Oregon. It looks like if you are playing the same way that you did on Oregon, you should be able to go to that 3-3 half, which is what you want to hope for in terms of resetting. When you switch over to your attack, you want to be able to have every single round to your advantage. Otherwise, if you're on that disadvantage and you need to work rounds back, it's hard to do. It's not too much to ask for. You can do it. It is Siege. Anything is possible. We've seen clutches come out of nothing. We've seen miracles happen. But you really, really want to strive to get that 3-3 anybody's game half.
Yeah, just having that 3-3, I feel like the first half, it's just like a little test to see how he's playing. But JPK, he's playing an absolute game right now, hitting those shots these last few rounds, and he's able to shut down Captain Oz. And that's your Ash off the board, not able to clear any shields with those breach charges or any sort of barricades or anything to clear those Jaegers, ADSs. Not going to be able to utilize any of it, but having that pick for Bandits is going to be huge. But the site is this trophy statue, so they got to be wary that they got to push the site. So for Naughty Sausages, they've only got one player here. The rest are all pushing from the other side. And now that you've got one less person to help clear that side, you got to be careful how much time you waste here.
A little bit of irony happening as well. Captain Oz losing the gunfight to the Mozzie, which is what he utilized so effectively last time to drop 23 kills in his last matchup on Villa.
Maybe he'll punish Bandits when he gets to the defense shortly, but JPK right now, he's punishing everybody on the side of Naughty Sausages with the C4 of Muzzy. And so far, he's got the double. He's found both. Whoa. But Hills with a refrag back onto Lonely. He's also been hitting these shots. Wow.
Trying to find
what
the
is
kill
happening?
Onto the concrete position now. Orion will find a kill onto Organiser, but MML has an answer onto Hills. Leave it down to a 2v3 situation for Orion and Harry M to clutch it back now. He's got a lot of leadway, does a lot of damage as well, but MML being left on low HP will leave him down to 1 HP. Needs to be careful. Orion, the SMG to come out as well. One bullet connecting will be able to clean him up, but just as much though. The fire rate will do so. JPK is able to clear up onto Harry M, and Orion, he lost his engagement to the fast fire rate of the MPX.
Triple kill for JPK, and you know, a little bit of a slow start to him for that game, this map, sorry. And now those last few rounds he's picked up, he's able to find, I think, a double in the previous round and a triple there. So some nice tasty kills for him there, and hopefully it carries over onto this attack. But we do get that 3-3 split that we were talking about. So now Naughty Sausages, they are on the defense, so hopefully it plays more into their playstyle. After all, this is their map, but we saw last map that, you know, it was Bandits map pick, and we went all the way to the 15th round. So I wonder if we're going to have another overtime game here, or if Naughty Sausages or Bandits are going to have a dominant performance now that we've switched sides.
It's a little bit of a hard thing to guess, right? Because we have the intel on how well Captain Oz played on Mozzie last time. This well, he's not had a really good half. Only finding 2 kills in his very first attack, though. But we saw how aggressive he was when he switched over to his defense the last time that he played Mozzie on Villa. Dropping 23 kills, maybe even more. I believe it was 23, but if he does the exact same thing, then he could genuinely just flip the narrative and just put so many rounds under Naughty Sausage's belt. But I don't think a team like Bandits will allow you to walk through them like what we've seen in the past.
Well, we can already see that with the first half. Obviously, he started on defense last time, so, you know, Not that bad of a half from him, but not the best on the attack. But maybe the defense is where he truly shines. He does love his Mozzie, so he's not running that pulse, which he is known for. But can he do some damage on this roam? As we saw JPK and MML do, they sort of struggled a little bit to start us off. So I wonder if Naughty Sausages can do a little bit better. But MML, he's actually close on concrete, and he's able to find Captain Oz straight away. So Bandits making good presence on the map and already finding that opening pick. That's huge for them. And similar sort of instance for Naughty Sausages, they have to fall off that position rather early.
Line scan popping up to see if he can catch anybody off guard. Hill's going to be playing this skull position, just waiting for somebody potentially to try and push, but he's gone and focused his attention towards Study Mall, which it looks like that's where Bandits have focusing all of their attention at the moment, as two players on the side of Bandits have rotated to the bottom of these study stairs, where Life is going to be able to take that engagement head on. Now he's got the 1.5 to help him as well. The flashes are going to go out, but it will be caught by the Wamai disc. It will connect to him though, and he's able to get away. But the Frost Mat coming into play is going to shut him down. Drift is going to have to be there for the support, and he's going to have to push up these study stairs. But you're able to find a confirm onto Life. Harry M finding a kill in the process as well. It's going to force the Drift to push back and think about the position that he's in at the moment, as Harry M finds the lurking kill onto him. Harry still below, hasn't been dealt with. MML unable to find that refrag yet, but being able to read into that, you've got the main advantage. You should be able to rotate yourself back to site and bunker down with the rest of your team for these last crucial seconds, 50 there are left in the round. Left for only two people, Lonely and MML, to clutch it back. Is it a lot to ask for, KJ?
I mean, we've seen Lonely in a 1v3 situation on Oregon, Elijah. It's still on the tables. It just depends if Naughty Sausages choose to play this a little bit better than that occurrence. But for the most part, it looks like they're holding their ground. They're not really swinging and gifting those picks like they did in that previous time. And Live swinging at the right time when the nade is prepped. And it's all left to Lonely in a 1v4 this time. So a little bit higher in the odds, but Hills will shut it down and find the head of Lonely. And that will be the first round of the defense. 4-3.
Strong. That was a very, very strong round. It looked like that Bandits had no room at all. And finding that very first pick as well, crucial. It really swung the round in your favor. But looks like that the patience and the coordination, cohesion, so strong for Naughty Sausages. Looking like they are just as comfortable on that defense, which we saw 2 weeks ago. Their Naughty Sausages were really, really strong on this map. So I'm not surprised that this is their map.
Yeah, and even though they lost Captain Oz early, they were able to, you know, hold their ground and find those picks back and winning the round. So I think I like a game where the opening pick doesn't result necessarily in that round win. You know, not all is lost, and it doesn't mean that you can't win the round. You just got to persevere. You got to push forward and play with your other teammates that are alive to secure that round, and that's exactly what they did. So I wonder if they choose to do that going forward. And it just seems that when Naughty Sausages play off each other well, they play together, they're able to win these rounds. And it didn't really happen as often on Oregon as it has here on Villa. So if they can continue to do that, we might see them win this map and take us to that map 3. But for now, a lot of work still to be done and a lot of rounds to still be played. But MML, he's just so good at making his presence known on the map and being able to take this control quickly off the intel of his team. But he's going to be careful of these roamers down here in this living library position. So Captain Oz, he's near this Narnia door here. They got to be careful of picking out a memo.
I did see it for a little bit of a split second. A blue flash of death. They have a pre-placed drone in here, KJ. They know that he's in living. I did see it flash. I believe it was on the fireplace as well. So if they are a little bit careful, you can see a Razor sending into a drone to make her. They've cleared up that Astro. So they should be aware of Captain Oz's position. They just need to thwart him out. Make sure that he can't shut them down with these C4s. Otherwise, it'll be a very huge problem. Now, they are setting up those drones to watch this flanks, and they're going to utilize these frag grenades, MML. Just being a little bit cautious though. You need to make sure that you have the information backing behind you if you want to do something like that, and it looks like it's coming out as Hills being shut down as well. The call is being revealed on Captain Oz, but I hope that there's somebody nearby that'll hear him.
Doesn't seem like there is, but well played from them for playing off that line skin. They were able to utilize it, but Captain Oz able to find a Razor with a refrag from JPK, turning it around at the right time. And now we see Naughty Sausages. They're in the deficit once again, and Harry M, he's actually off the site. So it's just Life and the low HP of Orion to hold things down and shut down this push that is coming from the top floor and the bottom floor. But Harry M, the calls will go out, so he will be revealed. He's got to swing quick. He's able to do some damage to the Ash, but he's able to shut him down. He reloads in the open, but he gets away scot-free.
Azumi boy on the side of Warden at the moment is going to leave MML in a really rough position in terms of how he needs to push. He will find the down onto Orion, but a C4 will collect onto MML, and he's able to zoom away again and be left unpunished. He was down a little bit of HP though, but the confirm of Lonely is going to finally clean up Orion and Drift to find a kill of his own in the process. Will leave it all up for MML, Harry M, sorry, to clutch it back. Lonely's going to try to get that plant down, but Drift is going to have to cover. He's going to be able to find the kill through the wall.
Oh, that was rather close. He almost got a little bit too close to shutting down that diffuser, and I think the smiles from Bandits there just showcases that, and they knew that was a close one, but at least they're having fun. But on the side of Naughty Sausages, I think losing that one was a little bit costly. They didn't know sort of how to deal with that vertical presence from Bandits, and they unfortunately lost a play to a nade from below, and Captain Ozzy was able to find one, but instantly refragged, and then from there, they were just able to find the picks necessary to get that plant down in the site. So I think this time around, Captain Oz is going to be a little bit more active with his peeking and sort of try and deny this control. As well as the intel, like you mentioned, they knew that he was around that area, so trying to eliminate any drones that are pre-placed, which Bandits are so good at doing, will delay them with their push from wherever they choose to do it.
I feel like time and time again, Naughty Sausages just managed to find a way to sneak through Bandits. I can't take back what I said about Bandits being really strong and their roam clear. I feel like that's a very bad thing to do. You take back the words that you give out, but just by the looks of it, I've seen Bandits in the past do really well in terms of roam clearing, but it looks like they're just not up to standard today. Somehow, Captain Oz and Hills finding a way to just sneak through the coordination that Bandits are putting on display.
They work well with their coordination in some areas, just not all of them today, and sometimes it's definitely costing them, but Captain Oz able to do some damage on that pantry position, so that's going to delay the time a little bit. The calls will go out, but I think the right call to rotate off, it should be the way. You shouldn't want to contest that, at least alone, for the very most part, and it's going to force Bandits to be a little bit more cautious, make sure that you've rotated away, and Eraser and Lonely are doing just that, but Life's going to be spotted out on these red stairs. He's going to shut down that drone, but they're going to start to nade from below. So if, don't make the same mistake as the round prior. Try and stand on some soft floor and hard floor, but Captain Oz is able to find a pick through this little hole here. Elijah, what a angle.
I don't know if that was pre-established. Maybe he did a little bit of a spray through the wall. Game sense coming into play. Lonely, I believe, falling off the roof. A little bit of a misplay happening there, but you have to even it up. It was Lonely that made a misplay onto Captain Oz last time and made himself die to a Rentero drone. This time, he's going to make the mistake of falling off the roof. So, equally just as embarrassing.
It's the karma coming into play, the siege karma. We don't know how it works, it just happens. But we see Bandits down here on the vertical clear once again. They want to get these vertical nades, but unfortunately he held that one a little bit too long and nothing to come of it. Orion to find Lonely, so that's your ace off the board. No walls will be open apart from that closet, and Razor does find a refrag back. So Captain Oz will be down for the count. No C4 from him. No P10 cheeky shots. There's still 4 players on the board for Naughty Sausages and only 3 on the side of Bandits. MML quite low, and they're running out of time, Elijah. 30 seconds, and they're struggling for time. They don't really have as much map control either, so they've got to be careful.
Orion is holding down this closet. Harry M making his presence known on top of Astro Stairs as well. If they so choose to decide to jump in, that's going to be swept up, and as I say it, I'll speak it into existence. Almost like I'm a witch. And Naughty Sausages just clearing up. A 5-4 lead at the moment. KJ, the narrative continues. One round after another, the switch up every single time.
Yeah, it's just round for round, and like you said, you know, blow for blow, and it's just you gotta give it to them. You know, the fortitude, not only from the skills of these players, but the mental fortitude to be able to bounce back round after round. You know, you lose a round, you win a round. The emotional roller coaster would be a lot. So I think they got to keep this up. You know, more so for the side of Naughty Sausages. They are that map down. They've got to win this map to stay in this and progress and have that chance to progress. Sorry. To that grand final. Whereas Bandits, they're sitting comfortably on that one map advantage. So they got to be a little bit careful. And Naughty Sausages, they take this time out. I guess that's a good decision. I think one of them was having you know, some problems, but take this time to secure this next round. You know, secure that match point and ensure that you take this map. This is your map. Take it.
And they've got that 1 round advantage now to do so as well, so not too long now if they manage to keep up this momentum to secure themselves that match point. But again, the narrative just following over into the second map, and Bandits just following up not very far behind Naughty Sausages, so they're looking to take us that full distance as well with a successful comeback from what Naughty Sausages, they did have a huge amount of leadway in terms of winning out those very first 2 rounds, but an answer has been made, and we've just seen a trade for trade every single time. So it's good for Bandits being able to find themselves and collect themselves back that even advantage to get themselves back in the game so that they can get us a little bit closer to that overtime. And hopefully that is what their motive is in shutting down and getting themselves a 2-0. But you can imagine that Naughty Sausages have the resolve to want to go to that very third map so that they can collect themselves a win and get themselves to that grand finals so that they can exact their revenge on Kill Squad, who are patiently waiting their arrival.
Well, that's the thing. You know, Naughty Sausages, they faced against Kill Squad, you know, in the start of the playoffs. And they, I do believe was it a 2-1 or no, it was a 2-0, but the first map was rather close. And, you know, whereas for Bandits, they only versed Kill Squad, you know, the game before this one. And they unfortunately lost. So it would be good to see both teams get to the grand final. You know, that revenge. Either way, it's a revenge story. We talked about it, you know, last time, that both teams, no matter which team gets to that grand final, it will be that revenge story against Kill Squad. So I think it's just that little bit more so for Naughty Sausages, as, you know, Kill Squad, they got to pick who they got to verse in that first game, and Kill Squad thought that Naughty Sausages were the worst team out of the 4 that made it into that winner bracket. So Naughty Sausages, they want to sort of rub that in, get to that grand final, and then maybe go for that, you know, reverse sweep and whatnot. But I think the game is ready to go and get back into it, and let's hope that that little break, both teams could clear their minds, clear their heads, and get ready for the chaos that I'm sure will unfold as we go into round 10.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
Hopefully they have an answer.
Attackers.
Hopefully that cooldown isn't too much. Captain Oz being on the pulse this time and forfeiting the position of the Mozzie onto Hills to do some work, which, smart position. You know, he is the top fragger of your team, matched up with Life as well, in terms of the kills that you've got on the kill feed, on the kill board.
Yeah, I think with this lineup right now, they've got the pulse. They're bringing it out. They've decided that they need to release the beast. So Captain Oz, he'll finally be running it. and we'll see if he puts it to good use. Now, they do have that 1 round advantage. I wonder if they can lock in that match point and have that 2-round lead and hopefully close it out. Otherwise, it's just going to look rough for Naughty Sausages, and Bandits, like I said, they'll be able to have a little bit more fun this map, be a little bit more comfortable because they have that 1 map advantage. So hopefully they don't have too much fun and let this map slip away from them, but they've got a long way to go before they can claim this map as their own. Now, Orion, he's got to be careful of that 90 wall. It's actually open. They haven't reinforced it, so if that window is going to be open, they can actually get shot in the sight, so they've got to be careful of that.
In terms of pushing out this side as well, the cardiac sensor duoed by 2 C4s that Mozzie has to bring as well. If they so choose to push it, very dangerous for them. Looks like their Bandits are reading into it though, taking a little bit of a different approach. MML being punished to his diligence, and he's falling to a grenade, which I've seen, like, and this is what my thoughts were watching Bandits play over and over again. MML and Organiser are so proficient in getting those grenade kills from below, and so well at working out the timing. I think during the entire tournament, MML and Organiser getting those frag grenades, I think they do it more than any other team, and that is something to read into as well.
Well, yeah, unfortunately just holding on to that one that little bit extra. But right now, Naughty Sausages, this round, they've had that little break, and it's just been a dominant performance from them. Obviously, one pick was an accidental one, but for the most part, that shouldn't let your entire team fall apart, but it looks like it has. And they secure the match point. But like, I do agree with you. You know, they are very, very efficient with their nades. They're able to either clear lots of utility with it, or they're able to find the frags from below. But we did see in the round prior to that one that MML, he did miss a nade earlier because he held it for that little bit too long. But that time, that little bit extra, and unfortunately losing his life and his place in that round. But apparently it was due to his game freezing, which does happen. We gotta respect it.
It happens. I can't say that I haven't done it before. Whether it's to my game being frozen or just me being a little bit silly it's another story that I won't tell.
Yeah, whether it's your PC freezing or your brain freezing. I get you.
A freeze is a freeze.
Freeze is a freeze. But right now, Naughty Sausages, they're freezing any sort of lead going to be gained from Bandits. They're trying to really make this map pick their map win, and they're 1 round away from doing so. So if they can stop Bandits from winning 2 rounds, the map is theirs, and they go to that map 3, which once again favors their playstyle. It is border. And not to say that Bandits aren't good at fragging out when required to do so, but I think it's less effort in terms of having to clear the map and drone and sort of strategize on your defense. You're allowed to play a little bit more loose. You're allowed to play a little bit more free, and that just works into the playstyle of Naughty Sausages a little bit more. So if we do go there, Bandits are going to be careful, but they still have the chance to come back, and we've seen teams come back from worse deficits.
It's always a possibility for a miracle when it comes to Rainbow Six Siege. Things can happen that you don't ever expect. One time, you can just have a complete flip up, you know, not drop a single round in a row, and out of nowhere, you can pull a miracle out of nothing. As long as you have the patience, the will to do so. And obviously you need to be a little bit more vigilant in those coming rounds as well, in terms of using that util, droning out these roamers, which hopefully they're able to deal with Hills, because he is the roamer for the moment. JPK doing the front of droning there inside of library to see if he can spot out Hills, but Captain Oz utilizing the shotgun with a run out onto Lonely. It's going to remove him from play, and that's your hard breacher as well. Nothing left for you to use. No can openers, just the grenades. Oh. The JPK is going to be able to find a kill onto Hills to even things up back to a 4v4, and narrowly guiding the spearhead of their push into living.
Yeah, we don't... I think from Bandits, they read into that there was 5 C4s. on the board for Naughty Sausages. Now they're pushing horizontally so they don't fall victim to that pulse or that Valkyrie intel. But they got to be careful that if, you know, Naughty Sausages choose to retake above, they can set up Vert to deny these walk-ins from Bandits. But I think for the most part, everyone is on the site, but they do have the pulse available to them, whereas Bandits don't have an IQ to work that out. But they do have a JPK, and he's able to shut down Orion, and that's your Cade off the board. So 3v4 now. They do have the C4s, but Razor's going to just waltz right in, and he's able to shut down Captain Oz. They're going to find Harry's trapped there in the bike. They're able to find life. They only lost one man in the process. Almost a flawless round from Bandits, and on that tertiary site, they bring it that one round closer to going into that overtime.
Somebody get the Spotify playlist, because Bandits just danced through that site uncontested, finding so many kills back and forth. Pass him the Ox. That was too easy. Life just not being able to utilize the position that he was in to find himself multiple kills out there in the little clock hallway. Find himself being the very last player as well.
I think it was just a misplay as well from Hills. You know, we saw him in Living Library and he turned his back from where the push was coming from. I don't quite know. Maybe he thought someone was pushing down his red hallway, but he got picked off with his back turned to the enemy that he know was droning him earlier. So I don't know what the call was there, Elijah.
Well, it gave them a little bit of more room to wiggle with in terms of Bandits potentially having the clutch available to them, as only one more round is left before we go to the overtime. But Naughty Sausages, they are also one round from just ending the game completely and taking us to that third map. So hopefully Naughty Sausages able to work out their issues now that they are on a site that is more comfortable to them. So it's more doable than before, but you're not allowed to make a single mistake.
That's the thing with Siege, you know, against a good team, if you make any mistakes, you will be punished for it. And both teams have made mistakes, and I feel like both teams have capitalized off said mistakes. But something that we haven't seen all game, really, Elijah, is no Flores. Even though Flores is available, we are seeing the Brava, which can hack all of these gadgets. But there's all these shields and whatnot from the side of the defenses, and we haven't seen a single Flores.
Yeah, I feel like those Flores drones, a lot of players like to use it just for those Kiba barriers that cut off those line of sights. So I don't think that Bandits were really reading into them potentially bringing two deployable shields, one on Orion running that Frost and obviously switching out that C4 on Life for that deployable shield, who's playing the Warden. So they haven't been running many deployable shields as of late, so I feel like it was really hard for Bandits to read into, and thanks to that, they're able to have two shields up with nothing really to clear them other than the two sets of grenades that you've got on Organiser and MML. And MML being able to utilize his grenades, so he's going to feel a little bit safer knowing that he won't kill himself in this round.
Yes, he's going to utilize that nade to shut down the BP and deny that intel from that landing position, but they do have Fenrir's fear gadgets for those walk-ins of that side, so they're able to call whether or not they have pushed in and hopefully swing off of that intel. But Orion, he's able to swing and find Drift, so that'll open things up here and shut down your line. So they're not going to have to stand still in these future engagements now, but they do have the Ying still in hand and still two nades to come into play. The nade's going to be thrown at Hills, and he's actually going to fall victim to it, but MML going to shut down Life on the flank, and now it's looking more like a Bandits round. But they got to be careful of Orion tucked in here near Concrete. They're running a little bit short for time, but if they're able to find this pick onto Orion or Captain Oz, they're going to be able to open up the round. The Incanels are going to go out, and he's going to jump through the Trophy Wolf window there, but MML able to find the second pick onto Harry, and Orion, it's all up to him. He finds a double. He finds the down onto the third, but he's going to ace to win the round.
He did find it down. The grenade's going to come through as well to see if he can deny a little bit. No, a smoke grenade in turn as well. He tried to go for the confirm, maybe even finding two for yourselves, but JPK has got the long angle to watch you dissipate through the smoke. And luckily for him, Bandits will be able to collect themselves that even score back to 13 rounds now. Overtime has been secured for them, and the momentum being built for Bandits has put themselves in a position for potentially clutching this out and getting themselves that 2-0 victory. Naughty Sausages now on the back foot need to do some work to run it back.
That's the thing, is that we're back to that 6-6. We're back to that overtime, and it's anybody's game. It's deja vu all over again, but hopefully for Naughty Sausage's sake, it doesn't swing the way of Bandits. Now they get to open up with the defense on the overtime, so maybe it'll be a different story, but we just saw them struggle on that trophy statue side, so they're going to go to this Aviator Games for this overtime defensive round, and hopefully they can find themselves back in the lead. Otherwise, they're going to let a lead slip out of their hands a lot. They're going to let Bandits find their way back into this game and potentially win here in overtime. And I'd imagine that'd be a real kick in the guts for Naughty Sausages.
10 seconds left before insertion.
You could imagine that if Bandits do manage to win it here, then they go up against Kill Squad in the grand final, right? And what do we know about Kill Squad? Is that they're a second half overtime team, and it looks like Bandits are as well at the moment. As soon as they take it to their second half, they manage to find some rounds in their favor. So if Bandits do manage to secure it here, our grand finals could essentially be a overtime team versus an overtime team. And you can imagine how long those games are going to be as well.
Oh, the pings from Drift's own drone onto the landing play, unfortunately. Orion just tucked in there, so he's not actually going to fall victim to it, and just holding his ground right now. He doesn't want to expose himself to those long angles, but the line scans are going to go out, and Hill's almost finding the head of the Yana, but Drift holding his angle, holding his line of sight, and able to shut down Orion. It's already looking grim for them, but Hill's able to rotate back, and already Bandits finding all of that control and the opening pick.
The next objective now will needing to be clearing out these roamers. Captain Oz was on the lurk, so you need to be a little bit careful of his position. Last being seen downstairs towards that library, so he is sort of working his way back to the site, bunkering down and maybe supporting the player who is on top of the study stairs. That'll reveal a lot of pressure. It'll ease it up, but it looks like they're just narrowly focusing from their north side push. Captain Oz finding himself down below into piano as well. Need to be a little bit careful of that red position, but a jump out from Harry M will remove Drift from his play. Global utility being removed on that as well, but MML finding the kill back onto Hills will leave it down to a 3v4. Still advantage for the side of Bandits at the moment, but less so as the trade is due as the 3v2 is being made. Harry M fighting on Study. Life being able to retake the control into Nani is going to focus their attention to needing to push the Aviator side only. But they're a little bit split at the moment, KJ. One player on Study and they don't know of it.
If they're able to take that gunfight and win that gunfight onto a Razor on that Study window, it could be a little bit different. But if his position is there, it's going to be real tough to be able to push into this side here and shut down this plant from going down. But you are Warden. You're not going to be flashed here. And he's just holding this line aside. And unfortunately, a Razor is going to find Harry M. So it's going to be a little bit easier for them to push here. But he's going to jump in. He's going to be near that Study map door. And Life, he's going to find all three to win this round. And once again, dire circumstances for the side of Naughty Sausages, Elijah.
The MPX not packing too much of a punch now. Lonely being able to evade the pick onto that, but Life with a nice pre-fire is going to clear up a Razor with 2 more left to do. A little bit of tags in the back of Lonely will leave him down to about 40 HP, but he's made his way inside of Aviator. 2 people left to clear, 1 on red stairs, 1 on close skull. Need to be a little bit careful as the Fenrir is coming to the ability to blind him up as well, but a little long arm. Grenade's going to come through, the ADS is going to catch it though, he needs to go for the picks. A quick swing into Skull, but the SMG is alive. The Berry 9 ripping through what's left of Life is going to give Bandits a round win and put it in their favor as they all find themselves, for the first time in a little bit, 1 round above Naughty Sausages.
That's 3 rounds in a row for Bandits now, and Naughty Sausages, they've been put on the back foot. They haven't gained any momentum in these last 3 rounds, and it just feels like they're not playing together as much as Bandits. Bandits just working so well, and it was evident with the way that they held that plant towards the end there. You know, they both had each other's crosses ready to swing when the other was to fall. And that's how you have to play if you're on the side of Naughty Sausages. Even if you're on the defense, you can play your crosses, you can play your refrags, you can play together. And unfortunately for them, they're just not gelling right now. They're not sticking together, and going into these potential last 2 rounds, I think they need to do so. Otherwise, the game's lost, the series lost, as well as the map.
Bandits doing really well in terms of adapting to Naughty Sausages this late in the half. Finding themselves so many round wins in a row. I feel like they've really zoned in on giving Naughty Sausages a false sense of security. Because I got to see it put on display. They had no idea that Study was being contested. Organiser was the person who was just awaiting there, getting the intel, and he was there for quite some time as well. Just outside of the windows on his drone, collecting intel for the rest of his team for them to be able to get control around the side in front of that vault towards Aviator, making sure that it is all clear for them. And out of nowhere, just when Naughty Sausages think it's safe that there's nobody potentially rotating into Study, Organiser's there to take down the barricade and clean up. I believe was Hills who was dedicating his position in terms of holding that Study, so he was unaware. Bandits giving him the false sense of security that it was safe there. So they're doing really, really well in terms of adapting and changing up their play styles this late, and that's crucial for this sort of play as well. When you've hit that overtime match point, you've done your clutches, you've worked really well in your second half, don't let it slip.
That is the case, but we're seeing a little bit of a different lineup. We're seeing Captain Oz on the Amaru. He's already in trophy here. Elijah, is he going to catch the Mozzie off guard? He is, and he's able to find JPK. That is the Captain Oz we know. Just lurking around, going for those quick plays, but it looks like Orion's going to be taken out. That's your sledge. The site is below. You're going to need as much vert as you possibly can, but MML actually fell to a nade, so almost a trade, and Drift is quite low as well, so 2 players on the side of Bandits crucially low. So if they're able to find those picks, Naughty Sausages could still be in this game. No C4 from Organiser or Lonely, but there is a pre-place from Drift now. MML's still in his pocket, so still some lethal utility to be used for the side of Bandits.
Cardiac sensor just providing so much intel on where these players are. You're going to be able to read into that. Captain Oz has pushed down to these back stairs, potentially trying to push through the single door leading into kitchen. The Drift will be the man to deal with that as the yellow pings go out. The intel is shared. Doe could be doing a little bit of calls though to reveal the positions of these players, so that's going to force him to either focus on taking the engagements head on or utilizing the top down control. Now your sledge was removed like you said earlier, so the vertical control is a little bit harder to make. You do have 3 breaching charges on the side of Life though, who is running that IQ. So if you're able to use that effectively, it is a little bit dangerous because there are C4s and pulses on play as well. So the time it takes for you to place down that breach charge, you should be cleared up effectively as well. But the intel is being shared by Captain Oz to be able to get some kills from down below and through the floorboards out of nothing. The kills are just going left, right, and center for Naughty Sausages as there's too much left for Lonely to clutch back, and Harry M finding the very last pick in the round. And Naughty Sausages finally waking up and having an answer for them, not making sure that we are dealt with in a 2-0 fashion and taking us to that 15 rounds as we are able to secure, KJ, that 15 rounds in a row, the second time in a row as well.
30 rounds of Siege at minimum to be played tonight, and what a journey it's been so far. I think both teams just giving it their all and really, you know, showing in this last semi-final before that grand final. So props to both teams so far for their efforts, but for Naughty Sausages, you gotta win this round. You gotta take us to that 3rd map and show us everything that you've got. You're going to go to this kitchen site, so we haven't actually seen them play it all that often as much as we have the others. Have we seen them play it at all, Elijah?
Yes, I think we've seen it twice before. Twice. And I don't remember how the rounds went in their favor. Hopefully it works out well. I'm feeling a little bit skeptical myself, to be honest. I don't know if going to the tertiary site is the play here for them. It's a very hard one to guess. It's very 50-50 in terms of which team is the most comfortable on the tertiary site. I feel like these early picks have a lot to say about how the round will unfold on itself, because we talk about every single time that we hit these overtime match points, KJ, you hate to be the person who falls first.
That's the thing. You the nerves are high when it's, you know, this far into a map, and if you're the first to fall, you feel like you've let your team down, but, you know, it's not always the case. You still have your whole team behind you that can, you know, help win the round, but they're really trying their best to clear Orion here in Pantry. They've already wasted one nade here, so they're going to be careful of wasting any more utility. Captain Oz just feeding that info. The nade just not working out. He's just able to sit there for free right now. No damage being done. And they're just stalling out now. They don't know what to do. They're just waiting for Orion to make his move. But he's just going to sit in this corner and lay in wait for one of the side of Bandits to make the first move and make possibly the first mistake. But already in a minute into the round, and they're still wanting this pantry control really, really bad, but they're now starting to drone this other side of the map. They did a horizontal clear last time, but now they're doing it a little bit later in the round. And they've got to be careful of these Capcom traps. They did spot out the triple on this door coming up, I do believe, into living, but there is actually a player inside there, Elijah.
They need to be really diligent in terms of clearing him out. JPK looking like he's trying to get a little bit of a long angle, some jiggle peaks to go through, but damage all in all being done. Majority to Drift. Hills being able to read into the fact that it's a dangerous position that he's in, and is able to go back down into the basement thanks to the hatch being pre-established and popped out for him. Harry M finding a kill onto MML. He'll be downed in the process. Hills won't be able to confirm him and get him back up. So he's just going to be there for the support at the moment, as he's remained on these red stairs. Now, if you're not aware of his position, he'll be able to clean up multiple kills if he stays safe. The confirm finally coming out from Organiser to clear up Harry M. With only 46 seconds left, we're back down to a 4v4. These last few seconds, KJ, is going to be crucial in terms of how this map will end.
It's all coming down to this 32 seconds, and it was a little bit of a standoff between JPK and Hills there in that red stairs position, but they have the Fenrir gadgets there for when they push in, so he's going to utilize this. So if they push through China, they're going to be blinded. So if Life can play off this well, he might be able to find a few picks here, but the Thatcher, the EMPs are actually going to shut that from happening, but Drift will fall, but a refrag back, so it's a 3v3. 8 seconds on the clock. Lonely will find one, Captain Oz to find another, Eraser to find Captain Oz, Orion to find him, and it's a 1v1. Orion and JPK forced to push in, but we're going to map 3, Elijah. Naughty Sausages, they stay in it.
Very, very close end to map 2, ladies and gentlemen. Naughty Sausages just being able to collect it back thanks to the game sense. They push back, they play the time, which is the best thing for you to do at that moment instead of trying to take that very last 1v1. Nice little secure for yourself for your map pick. Both teams winning their pick at the moment, and they're going to have to take it over to our very third map, which is Border, ladies and gentlemen. So that very last decided map means everything for these teams, and who will be able to secure themselves that grand final position of going up against Kill Squad, Bandits versus Naughty Sausages. What a display that they've put on for the moment.
For this to be the last semi-final of this season, what a fashion to do it in. You know, 8-7 back-to-back. First on Oregon, Bandits taking that one on their map pick. And then Naughty Sausages taking 8-7 on their map pick of Villa. And it came down to a 1v1. So, you know, they're leaving it to that last sort of seconds there and really leaving us on the edge of our seats. But, you know, props to both teams once again for going this distance and, you know, making it as close as it is. It's enjoyable to watch, and I'm keen for map 3. I think, you know, we don't get to see much Border, but when we do, it's an enjoyable map to watch, and for it to be the final map of this series, I think it's going to be a good one. But any last words, Elijah, before we head to that break, before we head into that map 3?
that'll be all it for us. We're going to be heading to that third map very, very soon for our lower bracket semifinals to see which one of these two very hard-fought teams are going to be heading to that grand final to go up against Kill Squad. So if you're excited to see the results for that just as much as KJ and I are, definitely come back in 5 minutes because we'll be ready for you to head into our game of Border. But until then, just as always, stay safe, stay hydrated. We'll see you soon.
See you guys soon. Welcome back, everybody, and we're off to that map 3 of this best of 3 series between Naughty Sausages and Bandits. Now, Bandits winning that first map on Oregon 8-7, and then Naughty Sausages with the comeback and the response on their map pick of Villa 8-7. Now, you know, Elijah, going into this map 3 border, what are our thoughts?
I think it's going to be a complete switch up of pace. Now, those first two maps, obviously Oregon and Villa, both very comfort maps. I have a lot of comfort picks as well that a lot of teams tend to lean into, but teams less so like to favor that border. A lot of people really don't like to play that border. No, majority of the time, I would say at least 7 times, out of 10, you would see that border is banned, and nobody really likes playing it. So I would say in terms of playstyle that both of these teams have to offer, and obviously the way that the map is played out in general, I feel like there's going to be a little bit more of a struggle in terms of leniency of rounds being won. So I'm going to guess that this is going to be a change of pace. In terms of which team is going to win, though, that's anybody's guess at the moment.
Yeah, I think with the way that it's going, we could have another overtime game, and that would be crazy for, the final map. And if we go all that way, I think, it's starting to get a little bit late. It is a Friday night. Sometimes people are used to staying that, that late. But, you could have had a long week. You could have worked all week. You could have had like a long day today. And the later it gets, the more it's going to start to affect your gameplay. So going into this map 3, I've already played 30 rounds. How many more rounds can each team put in that 110%? This will be the real testament to that, and there can only be one winner, and there can only be one that progresses to that grand final, and another that drops out and is kicked out of that playoffs and sort of falls down and away. And that'll be the teams locked in and positions locked in as well. So I wonder who it'll be, Bandits or Naughty Sausages. So for you guys in the chat, take your bets, put your predictions in. But the first ban to come out, and it will be the knock that we see so often from Bandits. I don't think they've played a game where they haven't banned that, and they'll probably ban the Souls as well. But Naughty Sausages bans to come in, and Elijah, it's going to be a Ying ban.
I like that ban. The amount of strength that those Candelas bring in a map like Border is definitely not something that you want to deal with. So I don't fault Naughty Sausages for banning that one off as well. And second ban to come out, it will remove the keeper barriers from Azami. Now, I've seen Bandits utilize them on Border before. They use it very effectively in terms of needing to hold out the hallways that lead into CC from the balcony, but also in CC in general, it is really good for them to be able to sit behind it. Completely changes up how you can defend a position from it being unplayable to being really comfortable behind those large keeper barriers. Fenrir, the very new operator coming to Siege, has been banned out as that very last defending ban as well, so not wanting to deal with the new intel that he brings.
So a bit of a target ban from both teams. Taking out that Ying. We know that both teams that Bandits love to play their Ying for those executes. But the Fenrir, we saw how well Life utilized it in map 2. Now, not having the access to it, going to make things a little bit harder to be aware of where teams are pushing from, as well as, making them blind in the process. So I think it opens up a lot of opportunity for other operas to be played, and we're already seeing that come into play. We've got the Soulless being brought out, and we've got the Mirror as well, so that's a lot of utility for the side of Naughty Sausages to deal with if they choose to push either direction, I would imagine.
And the amount of pressure that those black mirrors bring as well, and having that mirror to your availability as well, I could imagine that it's going to be a little bit of a hard thing for Naughty Sausages to deal with. Hopefully they'll be able to use it effectively. You can see them long angles being dealt with as well. You can imagine that one mirror being dedicated for these officers that you can see that Organiser is setting up. Now you can choose to have another one, which looks like they're going for that fountain position. I was thinking more of a little bit more insight, maybe to help with the push from a little bit further back, but it looks like that they want to focus majority of their defense strategy from east side in. And I'm not too surprised by that. if these teams have done their research on each other, you would realize that majority of the teams really find comfort in terms of pushing from east side first, getting that control, getting the triple wall, and pushing inwards from that, which already looks like is the motivation behind their attack. But drone's going to come in play and revealing these positions as well. Orion out of nowhere, finding 2 kills this early on. Removing a C4 that was on Lonely as well, but also the Wamai discs if you haven't placed them down already for MML! Finding a triple! Looking through the wall as well, narrowly missing that 4th kill as well, but Hills will be the person to find that one out, and Orion! Wow. A 4K and a flawless round to start us off on Border.
What just happened? What? I think MML and Lonely, maybe they were holding hands in the site. But then everything that transpired following that, Bandits just getting caught a little bit off guard. They had all the util, you know, in their pocket, yet it didn't help one bit. And maybe that's just that first round going onto this map. And that was just one way to kick things off here on Border, though, Elijah. Wow.
A huge statement to make. Not at all that I think at any point, any given point, that was the way that the round was going to swing. With the amount of util that Bandits had set up, they had the Wamai disc, the Newt Jammers, the mirrors, you know, they had everything that they so needed to add so much pressure into anybody potentially trying to push aggressively, but the AC window is going to be the thing that they neglect. And thanks to that, the Bloody Sausages capitalizing on it, finding 2 kill unbeknownst to the position, finding themselves a 1-0 this early on in confidence to build that team morality this quickly. Bandits need to shut that down, otherwise you'll find them running through you.
Well, that's the thing. Someone that's going to be running, I would imagine, would be Captain Oz on that Blitz, Elijah. That, we've seen him use Blitz on Border before. And it's just a pain for any team to deal with. So I wonder if he's going to get his worth out of it and the quick control that he would hope to bring. Now, we saw the mirror set up before, so maybe Armory will be a little bit more free for them to take. And I wonder if that's the push that they'll be going for this time round. As you're not going to get that lucky a second time, I think. So they're going to try and drone out this break CC area, I'd imagine, and then have Captain Oz walk right in and start to pressure JPK here. But the thing is, he's a Warden. He's not going to get blinded by that Blitz. He is the perfect counter for the said play, but he's going to be able to hit his shots and not let the Blitz get too close.
Hopefully they're able to read into the fact that it is Water that is holding that CC, so you don't just let Captain Oz out of his chain and just run into what is essentially just straight death. Now, this is again,
oh no,
grenades coming through below as well, do a brunt of damage to MML, but nothing to finish him up just yet. He's left down to about 20 HP, and he's able to rotate away unpunished for that. Position's going to be removed, so you could have potentially isolated a gunfight, but you won't be able to do it. Already Blitz trying to push inside a CC as well. The pistol's got to come out, and Captain Oz being able to connect on to JPK. We'll leave it down to a 4v5 with the round swinging in Naughty Sausage's favor. The pistol going through the walls as well, rattling through the defense of what looks like Bandits not being able to collect up the kill onto Blitz just yet.
That's the thing, is that nade would have been the real kicker for Bandits. You know, missed opportunity there, just not cooking it long enough to do the damage that you want, but not aware of Ryan once again walking in. He's able to find one, he's able to find two. The switch with the pistol, Captain Oz to back him up, and life there to close it out, and another flawless round back to back for Naughty Sausages, and Border looking more and more like their map.
All sunny-sided smiles for the side of Naughty Sausages at the moment as they collect 2 rounds in a row in very strong fashion as well. Blitz just being that factor to confirm it even more. And yet again, for the second time in a row, the second map in a row, Naughty Sausages finding the lead of a 2-0. Bandits needing to find a little bit of an answer, and soon. Otherwise, they'll find themselves getting no room at all to clutch it back. And this is the thing that I'm seeing from Bandits as we play over and over again. I feel like the stamina in terms of them being vigilant in their droning are working out where the players are as well, and just holding each other's crosses. They're slowly starting to fade away. Somehow, again and again, Naughty Sausages seem to find a pathway that Bandits aren't watching to get in the site and catch them off guard. And you got to see Orion do that, collected him up 2 kills. The confirmed with a pistol, a quick flick as well onto the player who was playing into Africa, left them completely confuzzled.
5 seconds left.
Yeah, I think, you got to be aware of that top middle position. I know at least in the games that we play, Elijah, I swear there's always somebody trying to run up those metal stairs or at least push through that doorway. So you got to be careful, as it does catch a lot of people off guard. But unfortunately for Bandits, they weren't aware of it at that point in time. But this is the 3rd map. This is the only map left, and you can't be allowing these mistakes to be happening, because it could ultimately cost you the series. Now, it's still early days, and JPK, he's utilizing these Mozzie pests to his advantage. He caught 2 drones there. He lost the other one outside, but there is the other one in Armory to feed that information for him and his team. Now, Hill's going to take out that camera, I did believe, so all the Mozzie cams are gone, but he's making use of the buck. But MML, with a quick swing, able to shut down Harry M, but the Yana Cologne going to be shot as well from that archives door, and Hill's going to push into Army. They're going to try and shut down this roam that is right now being a pest for the side of Naughty Sausages.
Red pings are going out for both of the teams at the moment as they are spotting out the positions for both the attackers pushing from Armory across, but also the players who are dedicating their lives to holding inside of offices. The man to do so will be MML, who's holding this side with all that he can, as the ex-Kairos for Habana is able to connect to the hatch inside of the archives. Nothing to go over just yet, though. They aren't able to clear him up. Orion finding one, but immediately refrag will be made as MML is able to connect the shot back onto Orion. Now the red ping is still going out to reveal the position that he is still up there. Going to be a little bit digital. A nice little shot from the C4 to be able to confirm that your life stays alive, but you're able to rotate back down. MML dropping the hatch that is pre-dropped for him. He's able to get away safely, but Live finding a kill onto Drift will take it down to that 3-3.
Yeah, and MML, he's quite low, so he's going to be careful with the engagements that he takes, because if he takes the wrong one, he will drop, and then it'll be left to Eraser and Lonely. Now, Eraser trying to sneak up those stairs, try and find a cheeky play, but he's going to retreat back to Customs. He doesn't want to take any more risks and lose that gunfight. And I think they're aware they must have a drone in Customs, and they're starting to collapse upon him. Captain Oz shutting down Eraser, and now it's all left to MML and Lonely as the time is ticking. It's starting to get a little bit closer to that end of round. But Hills, right in the open. The Frostmat, Captain Oz, though, he's able to shut down MML, but
it's all
of a sudden
over.
it's a 1v1. Lonely. But Oz! He finds the head. And Bandits, they almost find their round, but Captain Oz, if anyone's going to do it, it will be him.
All aboard the Express, the RMS Titanic, that Captain will be driving through the attack. Bandits not being able to answer at all, and they'll find themselves 3-0 now. Bandits, this isn't you. This isn't us. What is happening?
I don't know what it must be. The fatigue. Maybe it's starting to kick in. You know, there's been a lot of rounds of Siege for both teams, but sometimes it can affect one more than the other, especially because Bandits would be playing off that loss. Maybe that has also come into play, whereas, you know, Naughty Sausages, they just came off a win, a very close win, but a win nonetheless, so that they might be playing off that momentum, that they're still in this. And they're definitely in this now that they're 3 rounds up, but that doesn't mean that Bandits can't bring it back in the second half, or the second part of this first half at the very least. But I do believe this is the first time that Naughty Sausages, or any team for that matter, has actually been 3 rounds ahead. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely changed up the way that we've seen things from this matchup specifically against Naughty Sausages and Bandits. Usually, you've got either one or two things. Maybe Bandits will win the first round, Naughty Sausages will answer by winning the next. In a different case, we've seen Naughty Sausages win 2 rounds in a row, then Bandits having an immediate answer to win 2 for themselves, but this time, 3 in the row has been made for Naughty Sausages, and not a single answer has been made from Bandits. So you're going to want to hope that the next 3 rounds Bandits can secure themselves, but it's looking like it's not the case at the moment. Bandits just slowing down so much without having to find any answer is not the place what you want to be.
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
It really isn't. And, you know, a map like Border, you know, it's not necessarily defender-sided. I'd like to say, like Villa, it's a little bit more sort of balanced. I like to say you still have that advantage because you get that advantage of the clock running down, and you can really run it down on a map like Border if you're able to find opening picks like that. MML able to find the C4 pick onto Captain Oz, who's been doing quite well himself, and that's your hard breach off the board. So no hatches to be opened by him, but Orion with the trade a little bit later onto MML. So once again, that's your warden off the board, and no real flashes to come out, so you're not going to utilize those glasses, but having that extra man would definitely help in this map and this matchup specifically. We've seen that no matter what, Naughty Sausages, they're able to find the frags when necessary.
This would be time for Bandits to wake up now, as it was MML who was the only person in the stack that had kills. Organiser's now finally waking up to match him as well to get a kill for himself, but Hill's going to shut down JPK and take it back down to a 3v3. Got to be holding out this position to make sure you don't swing out of lobby, but the timing will be made. Hills connecting the shot onto Lonely first, and Life finding the kill onto Organiser, but Drifter's going to answer back onto Hills, and down to a 1v2 now for him to clutch it back with 53 seconds left. He's focused his attention. The yellow ping is going out inside of ventilation as well. Is going to reveal and share the information that that is exactly where they're pushing from. Now you need to be a little bit careful of the angles that you take. I do believe that Naughty Sausages are aware of exactly where you're playing as well. They've picked up the diffuser. They're going to jump through the double windows of tellers to get that down. Now, I do believe you're watching from the cross, able to stop him from being able to go through the rotate, so you need to be a little bit careful in terms of how you jiggle this, but you're able to find the kill. Life doing so effectively as well through the head holes into ventilation to collect themselves another round in a row. Bandits, where have you gone?
This is a different narrative on map 3, and 4-0 up. Bandits, good decision to, you know, take that time out, take that time to work out what's going wrong. You know, you're on the defense, you've got 2 more rounds to work with. Try and fix these issues, because something's just not clicking, something's not working. And I think, you know, in that round specifically, Naughty Sausages, Hills did really well there to open up that round and find that space walking through Passport. He didn't just find 1, he found 2, and that's not really what you want if you are Bandits. They weren't able to find the refrag at the very least. They know where the position of him was after the first one was to fall. So, bit of a misplay from them. So, hopefully, going into round 5, they can find some momentum of their own. Otherwise, they're slowly losing their grip of this series. They won that first map. They did so well to get into the overtime into the second, but they lost it just that close on that round 15 of Villa, and you know, it came down to that 1v1, but you can't be letting that get to you going into map 3, and it seems like it sort of has.
Attackers need to locate,
but we've seen greater comebacks happen before. So, you know, if you are Bandits, you just need to wish it upon you.
You know what I hope? A lot of the members in this round can wake up just a little bit, as it is MML, Organiser, and Drift following the brunt of the kills at the moment, with 2 donuts being left in your team. On a defense, you need to work that out. Play around each other a little bit more, maybe work on those refrags, and I believe that the tension can be pulled shut. The doors of Naughty Sausages just getting these consecutive rounds over and over again, you can shut that down. At Naughty Sausages at the moment looking to confirm even more. Captain Oz coming back to that blitz as well, just to confirm himself that 5-0. Hopefully you can deal with it. You have got that Warden. JPK is up still running that util that is the direct counter to him. Hopefully you don't have that same story being told as we saw last time.
That is the never-ending question, but the drones coming in from Naughty Sausages getting shut down from Bandits, but MML is going to be peppered up a little bit. He's on about 70 or 80 HP, and it's not what you want, but at least his life is still intact, and the site is Armory, so they haven't chosen to go to that tertiary side of customs. They want to keep things going, and I think for the most part they're going to be careful of this blitz once again, but this time they're able to shut it down. JPK finding the heads of the blitz and of the Nomad, and this is definitely a different approach, but Organiser, he's going to fall victim to Orion that's there to find these frags, but a triple for JPK, and he's woken up.
He's on sword for the ace at the moment. The kills, the bullets narrowly missing his head as he pulls a little bit of a Neo Matrix move, ducks below it, gets himself back to safe 90 hallway. Now he's on the search for the ace at the moment. Hopefully nobody can shut him down. He's looking, he's lurking. He's got the comfortability to sit inside of Fountain as well. I do believe his deployable shield has been dealt with. Harry Emma's relatively low HP, if not just 2 HP in all. Deployable shield still up as well. So one little tag, one little bit of breath being put onto the likes of Harry Emma's got to remove him as well. Yoa's life just still being on 100 HP. So you still have to deal with him. But if JPK manages to do so, he's going to easily find himself an ace. With a high fire rate gun of the MPX that is in Warden, you shouldn't be able to miss just one bullet.
You should be able to hit it, and unfortunate for Harry, he's going to miss it, but it's lonely to pick up the kill. Pad the stats a little bit, it's all left to life to get a 1v4. Can he make it work? The Legion Mine reveals his position, and JPK finds the 4K.
Hello, Bandits. Nice to see you. I missed you guys. Welcome back. Get some caffeine in you, did you?
They have arrived to the occasion, and hopefully they can, even some things out now that we're getting closer to that switch up at the half. Still one more round to be played on the defense for them, though, before they go to the attack. And maybe on border, they're just more comfortable on that attack than they are on the defense. And I guess, with the way that they play, usually, but not as much today, they are quite good on their roam clears. And on a map like this, there's not as much to clear. For the most part, once you clear pretty close to the site, you have all the time in the world to work with, and you don't really need to open up any walls. It's not required, but you can definitely utilize some, like that detention wall, to help you gain that map control. Now, if they're able to do that going on in the attack, it could be the comeback that they need. But right now, a 4-2 split on this defense would be the real winner for them. And they're going to use this Goyo on this ventilation site. So we haven't seen this site, I do believe, just yet. So this will be the first time they're playing this site. We'll see how they do it.
Looks like the lineup adjusting for the side of Naughty Sausages at the moment. Bringing out a sledge to confirm that you've got all the comfortability of opening up the floorboards above the site as well. Maybe find yourselves a nice little kill to start off the round. But that really remains that you need to stay alive. Orion being the key factor in terms of adding a lot of pressure onto the site means that if you deal with him early, it completely changes things up. Because you've got nothing left for the Vert then. You've got no breach charges. Nothing else. Harry M being able to shut down JPK though to find their very first entry frag, jumping inside our offices, and a huge pick it was as well.
Yeah, finding that opening pick, we talk about it so often. Like, it doesn't always necessarily result in you winning the round, but it definitely helps for an attacking side to shut down a defender, especially one with a C4. And JPK, who did so well the round prior, finding a 4K, him being off the board, definitely a awesome pick to get for the Naughty Sausages. Now, they're starting to open up these hatches, so they're starting to pressure from the Vert, and I'd imagine they want to start to open it up with the sledge as well to really pressure anyone holding down in the site. Now, they're throwing some nades, but nothing to connect just yet, but they've got to be careful as Hills. He's pushed into Passport, and he's going to fall.
Tried to get a little bit of a lurk potential going for him at the moment, but the angles were already preset for you. Ariam trying to get a little bit of a lurking as well by dropping the bathroom hatch, but MML is already there to clean it up. and they're already falling apart. Now Captain Oz is going to be the one to bring it back as he finds the kill onto Drift, and you've managed to take it back down to a 3v3 with a minute left as well. It's time for you to start doing some droning. Organiser's able to collect up the drone to try to get some info onto Orion, but no kills to go out yet. You've still got the sledge available and the grenades to do so as well. Sledge to go out, but to be done. The positions to be revealed, but it looks like majority of them have decided to go off of the site at the moment.
Boy, risky engagement from Life there. There was a cross on the metal stairs and customs, but unfortunate for Organiser, he wasn't able to find it, but they did tag him up just enough to be under that half HP. Now they're going to try and go for this plant by jumping in the window, but they're going to have somebody on the main door, one on the vert and one planting. So if one is to fall, it could be a risky plant, but they're running out of time. 24 seconds. There is Goyo packs too, but Organiser, he's going to swing. He's actually going to fall. That is a big frag for Captain Oz, and he's going to push off of that and try and go for the plan. And MML going to push in, but the nade was there, and Captain Oz to cover, and it's all left lonely. But the crosses are there. The post-plant positions are there, and Life will take them to that 5-1 lead.
The composure being set out for Naughty Sausages just put on display for us to see. Them being able to go to their checklist, secure that top floor, and then rotate all the positions of the players that they had left into those crucial spots onto the main door to watch the cross. Grenades being put down below to add pressure for anybody potentially trying to push through that default rotate as well, but the communication being there to help Captain Oz being able to get off the defuse, find a kill. It's just all strong for Naughty Sausages at the moment. Not a single mistake being made. Bandits just not being able to find any footing at all, and they're gonna have to rotate back down to that Tellers where Naughty Sausages won in the past very comfortably. Actually, it was closer than expected, I would say. So there is room for Bandits here to collect themselves around, get themselves to that 2-5, but the way that Naughty Sausages are playing at the moment, almost finding themselves so many flawless rounds this early on in the first half, it's very hard to guess when Bandits are going to show up.
The underlying question, will they be able to do the impossible? Maybe they need a little bit of motivation, like a Kill Squad comeback. You know, we've seen Kill Squad come back from similar circumstances. So it's definitely doable, but it requires a large amount of willpower. And in map 3, I would imagine it would be tough to sort of muster, but it is doable. You just got to find it now. Can they find at least, you know, 1 or 2 rounds to gain the momentum and then lead it into the others? That is, I guess, what we'll find out going into round 7. They are on the switch up, so, you know, clear that mental, clear that mind. You get to do something a little bit different. So let's hope that their cohesion is a little bit better on that attack and they can find the frags that they need to find the wins. Now, they're utilizing this intel to spot out these players and take this CC control.
There was a player there just earlier, but it looks like he's able to read into the fact that the intel was shared and he's able to rotate away completely unpunished. Now, you did try to retake that armory. Thank you to the setup that you've had before you, though. Drone's coming in, adding a little bit too much of a pressure for you. So it's a smart read for you to be able to rotate yourself away, potentially just hold the top with your player Hills. Now, he's in archives as well, utilizing this little pixel peek between the monitor, but you will just do damage. Nothing too serious as of yet. The kills will go out, though. Harry M finding the very first pick, but immediate trade from Organiser is able to remove Orion, which is your Cade. So if you had any hopes of Cade tricking as well, a nice little turn of events is going to happen. Captain finding a C4 kill from the floorboards below. Hills being able to catch a kill for himself, but Drift is going to be the man to deal with that. As the X-Kairos get displayed on top of the customs, the divert control being taken as well. Drift being left down to low HP, but the cardiac sensor providing so much intel on where his position is. It looks like that Bandits, again, on a back foot.
That's the thing. Bandits, you can't be losing this round. This is a vital round to win, because if you let Naughty Sausages win this round, that's match point secured, and then they have all the room in the world to work with. So Lonely and Drift have a lot of work to do if they want to try and get this round in the bag for their team and sort of keep their team in this and shut that idea of that match point from happening just yet. But I'd imagine that Naughty Sausages, they want that to be the case for them. They want to secure it. They want to be comfortable, and they look rather comfortable. Now, Life, He's going to be looking at passport, but he's not looking at customs, and that's where Lonely is. Now we're down to that 2v2. You know, Drift is low, Lonely a little bit tagged up, so it is a little bit more in the favor of Naughty Sausages. They also have all this intel from the Pulse. He's playing in passport, but maybe they are aware of his position, and they're going to charge on through. Solus to drop. And now it's swayed in the favor of Bandits. They are actually in this still, but they have to cross into bathroom. And unfortunately for Captain Oz, he's going to whip out this pistol. He's running the shotgun, and the plant is going down. 2 seconds left on the plant. And Drift, they make work of the impossible.
Despite the low HP, it doesn't even matter. It will go unfazed. Drift finding that very crucial kill to win Bandits a 2-5. Still got a lot of work to do. Don't get me wrong. But this is a good starting point, a stepping stone to potentially having your comeback work. We can all hope. We can all dream. Let's turn it into reality, Bandits. Let's wake up. Let's do this.
Well, that's the thing. You said the stepping stone. Maybe this is the stone that creates the ripple effect. That just, you know, is the downfall of Naughty Sausages, and maybe kick things off here in this second half. You know, that, like I said, vital round to win. And Drift and Lonely, you know, the supporting players of the roster, I'd like to say, holding it together and keeping their team in this, and, you know, at least delaying that match point being secured from Naughty Sausages. Now, Naughty Sausages, if I was you, you know, don't let this lead slip. Don't let this be a case where you have this massive lead and you let Bandits come all the way. You know, as much as I'd love to see it, that would be a devastating turn of events for Naughty Sausages. You know, they are not necessarily the underdogs, but with the way that they finished on the season, they finished 4th place, whereas, you know, Bandits, they finished 2nd place. So Bandits are expected to win this, but we did see the predictions earlier, and it was rather even between the, you know, the 5 or 6 of us.
Oh, a soulless run out. Harry M finding one, tries to connect to the second. Will elude him. But it was a close and ambitious play, and it worked out well with Drift being your global utility. The EMPs in his pockets not being used as well, and you've got a K'd up as well. Shotgun from Captain Oz going to be able to run through the ribcage of MML, and you're down to a 3v5.
Well, that's the thing, you know, Drift being a staple of that clutch before, so now it's left to Organiser, JPK, and Lonely. Now, definitely capable of players of doing this, but Organiser, he's able to find Harry. So, you know, only 1-man deficit now, but they do have the intel of Captain Oz still in play.
I think it is doable. You can clutch it back. Only that 1-man deficit, but it gets a shotgun. Lonely is going to make it that much easier, though. He's going to find a pick onto life. Remove him. Now that makes it doable. It puts things in the realm that you can absolutely shut down these last few members. The cardiac sensor coming into play to reveal the positions. Hopefully you are aware that there is somebody on that main door. I do believe there's too much range for you to spot him out unless you go through the rotate. You've got the cardiac out. You're unaware! Captain, no! Organiser! The IQ scanner revealing his position, finding him so easily, and putting it in an easier favor as a 3v2 now. Bandits looking like they are wanting to come back here and work for that second half.
Yeah, Organiser, the patience from him paid off there. He utilized his IQ scanner. He chose the right time to push, and it worked out for him. Now, they got to make use of this advantage. They got to play together and ensure that they don't lose any picks without at least that trade. They have that man advantage. Why not get the trade and shut down these last 2 players of Naughty Sausages? Now they both have C4s. They both have the potential to shut you down. Are they aware of Hills pushing into customs here? They got to be careful. There is a rotate into passport, so if they're not careful, he could be the backstab. And there's only 25 seconds, so I don't think they'd be focused on somebody coming from behind. They're focused on what's in front of them. Are they aware? Hills, he finds one. He is taken out. They find the refrag at the very least, but Orion, he's close here and tellers. They got to find the frag, and JPK is the one to do it. Bandits, they find 2 rounds off the back of nothing. They're still in this.
A good sight to see. The smiles on the stack of Bandits have returned, KJ. feel like it's been a while since we've seen their beautiful smiles, with them struggling a little bit, I guess, to fatigue. Obviously coming off a loss from last round, we got to see the smiles dissipate. Now they've returned as they're able to get a few rounds under their belt. Show up against Naughty Sausages.
The fog has been cleared, and now Bandits, they can see the victory in their sight. They want to head towards it, but there's just 2 rounds in their way so far, and they've so far had a flawless attack. They're doing quite well to do, you know, to come back off that scoreline. 5-1, you've been able to win 2 rounds on your attack. So maybe both teams just really struggling on the defense on border, and maybe that just comes into play of what I talked about earlier, where when you have that map control, you're not that far from the site, and you've got lots of room to work with and lots of time to play with. Like we saw, you know, all it takes is working together to find those picks, find those refrags, and it essentially can help you win the round, and that's what Bandits are doing right now. We saw Naughty Sausages do it in their attacking half, but now that they've switched, it seems like they've lost that touch on the defense. They're able to find these opening picks with these spawn peaks, but they're not able to hold their ground after that, Elijah.
Yeah, I feel like the way that the map is laid out, once you find that opening pick, especially if it's as aggressive as that has been displayed, runouts, spawn peaks, things like that, with the amount of windows and positions that can be forfeited really, really early in this map, it looks like Bandits are really making good use of that and getting that refrag as soon as possible, so that you're not in that man advantage deficit that is crucial for this map, especially if you're going to play refrags in these close quarters. Now, MML always finding himself in the building in a safe spot to add a little bit of chaos in the mix of the defense for Naughty Sausages. Nothing to go at yet, though. Doesn't look like they've got many lurkers hidden down below, but down below is where you'll always find MML. And what does he do there? He utilizes those frag grenades to isolate some picks, maybe get one for himself, maybe do some damage. 9 times out of 10, you'll find him find a pick. And with the amount of soft floorboards that are in this map, you can imagine that he's about to find 1, if not 2.
Yeah, that's the case of both Villa and Border, is that there's just so much soft floor. A bit of a misthrow with that EMP, but he will find the second and deny all of those Bandits. So the triple wall will be open. So that leaves Bandits a little bit of wiggle room and avenues to work with, pushing into this office archives area. Now, they're going to be careful of the cross from Hills and Orion, but Orion's going to take a large chunk of HP from a nade below, I do believe, so they're going to be careful of that. Hills is actually going to swing, but no shots to connect just yet, and got just over a minute now in the round, and no one's fallen just yet.
Grenade kills just being eluded though, but an aggressive play into offices will make a trade as Orion finds a pick, but Eraser gets it back. But already Naughty Sausages just collapsing to every single member of Bandits, making sure that they can't push any further in. Life under the kill onto MML. We'll leave it all up for JPK to clutch it back. Now here's an engagement on top at E stairs, but Captain Oz with the 2x scope, 1.5, sorry. He's able to find it. The staple of his character, the Mozzie, which he does so well on, being the very key factor in closing out the round, and Naughty Sausages securing themselves the match point as well with 3 rounds ahead of Bandits. A lot of work needs to be done for Bandits to push back, but it's not out of the realm of possibilities, KJ. We've seen it before. It can happen again, but you gotta hope that Bandits, they have an answer here. Otherwise, it's GG.
Well, that's the thing. Naughty Sausages, they just locked in that match point. So, you know, it's going to be a perfect performance from here on out to get to that overtime. And that's what it has to be at the very least. If you don't go to that overtime, it is that GG, like you said. So they can't afford to make any more mistakes. And I think with that, they skipped a step. You know, they didn't get that top east control. And if they did, they allowed Naughty Sausages to retake that control and really punish them for it. So I think if they're gonna take that control, they need to be sure that they can hold it down if Naughty Sausages chooses to retake it. Now, they've got a lot of intel from this Valkyrie as well as the Soulless, and the site is on that ventilation site, so they're going to be careful pushing above if they choose to do so, but they do have the buck to do that vert if they need, so not the sledge. So a little bit safer when you do that vert, but they might choose to do a horizontal push. We have seen them do that in the past, but they got to be careful of the extension from Naughty Sausages.
Bandits really making it out to that they've got a tree of backup plans, if so. Backup plan A doesn't work, but you're trying to take that vertical control, utilize the skeleton key. If a Razor falls, you've got two sets of breaching charges. One on the side of Thatcher, the other on IQ as well. And IQ has been really strong so far if you're utilizing it the right way. Not only to find Pulse, but you can find that Soulless as well. So Soulless needs to be a little bit careful of when or where she uses that ability. Now, Orion doing a brunt of HP done to JPK, utilizing that 1.5 of a very strong DMR to see if you can collect yourself up a kill onto the Balk though, but the kill will be able to get away. The kill won't be confirmed. Orion still remaining behind the half wall though. No grenades going to be thrown in. No grenades on the side other than MML, who is really proficient in using them.
Yeah, and, you know, they do have the intel from JPK on the IQ to spot out these Valkyrie cameras and where the Soulless may be playing, but he's got to stay alive for that to happen. Drift taking a huge chunk of HP as well, and they're just not able to clear as efficiently as they have done in the past, but we did see the Captain Oz on the mute take a large amount of damage. Eraser able to connect onto Orion, but Captain Oz to find Eraser, and life to find Drift, life to find JPK. That's all falling apart for Bandits. It's here or nothing.
You've got so much work left to do. A triple kill for life is going to leave it all to one last player on the side of Bandits, MML. If there is anybody in a clutch situation, it will be him to pull it back. But against four members of a very well coordinated team of Naughty Sausages, Hills with a C4 below, speaking of coordination, will be able to completely close out the game in a 2-1. Victory, Naughty Sausages, 7-3 on their very final map. Captain Oz, a little bit of a celebratory dance to secure their happiness in victory.
And that secures them going to the grand final. They get to have their revenge against Kill Squad on Sunday. So in 2 days' time, I do believe at 6 p.m., you know, AEST. So, you know, be there or be square. But Naughty Sausages, they're not playing around. They're here to, you know, take that title of winning out the Nova tournaments. And they've definitely had a good run. They've made their way through the lower bracket, won that lower bracket semi-final, kicking Bandits, who came second in the season. And, you know, it's first place versus fourth place. So it's a bit of an underdog story in that grand final for Naughty Sausages. But talking about this series as a whole and that last map, Elijah, what are we thinking?
Now, definitely not the way that I thought things were going to go. I thought it was definitely going to be a little bit closer, rather than a 7-3. Not too close, though, as the playstyles really do switch up when you switch to that third map off border. Obviously, the stamina is something to take into account as well. Whether these guys can keep up the pacings after playing so many Siege games in a row against each other, it can become exhausting. So it's a definite congratulations to Naughty Sausages for being able to win that one up. And my prediction, KJ, it's right.
Your prediction.
Right. My prediction's right. Everybody, majority of the people actually, picking out Bandits. And I won't lie, at the beginning, I was a little bit torn between the two as well. I was thinking, damn, like, maybe Bandits do have the capability to bring this out. But we all know how much I love that underdog story and how much I love a revenge story as well. So I thought, let me diversify things a little bit more. And me and Tiaki both thought that Naughty Sausages were able to take this 2-1 as well. So looks like Tiaki and I finally taking ourselves a win. I do believe that we normally fall, thanks to your guys' predictions, but this time, a little bit different. How are you feeling, KJ? What do you think? Are you a little bit disappointed?
I think I should, you know, bow down to you, good sir, for, you know, getting your prediction right, as well as Tiaki. You know, you both believed in Naughty Sausages. I definitely thought that be a close game. I didn't get to see the bans until they unfolded before our very eyes, and you know, it being border and us going to that map, I think it definitely paid off for them. But we get to have the interview from Naughty Sausages, and it's Harry M, the lovely man himself. How are you doing, Harry, after that win?
Yeah, good, thanks. It was a pretty good win. I can't lie. We played pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it. The boys picked up some slack for me because I was lagging for like the entire time. It was but I'm glad that they could do that for me.
Awesome. You guys played really well. A very proficient comeback as well. You guys got to be so happy about that. It looked like you guys struggled on map 1, but really, when you guys warmed up, hitting into that second map, when you guys were really comfortable on Villa, taking it over into Border as well. Were you prepared for this map at all? It looks like coming off your very last week, where Captain Oz dropped like 23 kills on Villa. Did you guys take that into consideration when picking Villa as well?
Yeah, so we definitely picked the maps for the fragging potential because that's pretty much what we are. We're just a fragging team. We sort of just drone each other in and we rely on each other to kill everyone. So we were definitely prepared for the border pick. That's probably our best map other than Oregon. But we did throw a few rounds on Oregon, unfortunately. But, you know, it is what it is.
Going into map 2, which was Villa, you know, when you guys had that lead and then they went back into that overtime and it was a bit of a deja vu from map 1, were you guys feeling the pressure a little bit?
Yeah, well, yeah, we were obviously feeling the pressure because we didn't have a second chance like Bandits did, so Bandits probably weren't feeling the pressure as much. So yeah, we definitely had to pull our heads in and just sort of play our game properly and just drop the egos a bit and hang back, play more passive.
Yeah, I imagine. So Border being your best map, you think is that something that you want to put on display for your grand finals guy going up against Kill Squad as well? Do you have any words for those guys?
Yeah, definitely. So our best map is actually Theme Park, so you should probably ban that one. And you know, I'm happy to verse them next week. We'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll give them a good game.
Going in, as last question, going into that best of 5 for the grand final in 2 days' time on Sunday, you know, you guys showed that you had the stamina to go 3 maps. If you go to, you know, the max of 5, do you guys reckon you have the stamina to last it? Because you did do 30 rounds in those first 2 maps, so it was a bit of a long night tonight. Do you guys reckon you could go all the way, or you reckon it's going to be a clean sort of sweep?
Oh, it's definitely a bit rough if we make it to the 5th map. But honestly, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. You know, we're going to free up the arbos for it, so I'm sure it'll be alright.
Awesome. That really speaks into the team dedication that you guys have there. So that'll be all it for us in terms of questions. Before we head you off, though, and let you go celebrate with the rest of your team, do you have any words to say?
No, no, I don't have anything to say, actually. Yeah, I don't have anything in my mind at the moment. But thank you for the interview.
That's all good. Yeah, no, thank you very much, Harry M. We'll have to see you again very, very soon.
Congrats on the win, but that is the night over. And that is us done and dusted. But, you know, it's good to get that insight from the winning team and see, you know, what led to that win. And for the most part, you know, Harry, he might have been lagging, but his team was there to back him up. And, you know, going into the grand final, they seem like they're warmed up and they're ready to bring the fight to Kill Squad. So Kill Squad, if you're watching, I guess, look out. But we get to see how we got to the grand final now, as all of the other playoff games have been completed. So Kill Squad in that winning bracket, beating Naughty Sausages and knocking them down into that lower bracket, as well as Bandits winning against Panic and knocking them into the lower bracket as well. And then Kill Squad, they beat Bandits 2-1, and that's what secured them into that grand final. Now, Elijah, did you want to talk about that lower bracket there?
Yeah, look, it all started out with Trident winning their game up against Nutty and obviously Naughty Sausages. They are able to clear up Trident and their victory of 7 games in a row. That forced them to go up against Panic, and Panic, what were the top team, now falling 2-0 to them. So Naughty Sausages, after losing in their winners bracket, they really honed in on their revenge arc. And they just started winning games after games, and they had that backing behind them, now taking out Naughty Sausages. And as it all unfolds, this is the story of the ages. The revenge going to be happening on the 25th of June at 6 p.m. Kill Squad going up against Naughty Sausages. Naughty Sausages looking to exact their revenge.
Yeah, and I'd imagine Kill Squad, they want to hold that title. Obviously, they did lock in that first place towards the end of the season, and they've had a pretty good winning bracket, you know, only dropping the 1 map against Bandits. And even though that one map was close, you know, they still, you know, dropped that map. So I would imagine Naughty Sausages, they've just been playing better going into these later parts of these stages of this season. So I think, you know, it's definitely going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be a clean sweep like it was in that winner bracket round 1. So I think it's going to be a different sort of story. And it just goes to show that they really worked to get there. You see 3 games in that lower bracket that they won. And obviously they played 4 games in total in the playoffs. So what an achievement to get there. So props to them. But they still have one more game ahead of them to claim victory. But I'd imagine Kill Squad, they want to keep that title. But any last words, Elijah, before we head off until Sunday?
That'll be all it for us. I'm excited to see you guys on Sunday for this grand final, and I hope you guys are as well, for potentially 5 very hard-fought games against Naughty Sausages going up against Kill Squad. But all in all, that is all up for us on the lower bracket semi-finals. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you missed anything, definitely go back and have a look at the VODs. And even if you are a player, you know, if you're going to go up against these teams in the future tournaments or anything like that, definitely do your homework, because these guys are nothing to underestimate. But other than that, KJ, that is you and I done. I thank you guys very much for joining us. We'll have to see you guys on Sunday, but as always, guys, stay healthy, stay hydrated.
Stay healthy.
See you guys then.
Oh, bye.
Oh.